Jennian Homes have been proudly building the homes New Zealanders love for over 35 years and encouraging youth to achieve their hopes and dreams. Jennian Homes is proud to partner with the New Zealand Olympic Games team.
Kia ora, good morning. Welcome to the Hawke's Bay Regional Sports Park. It is day one of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2021. And as you join us, we see the first national record has just been set. Nico Pepe in the javelin with a national record in his particular field, and great start. And we are looking right now at the start for the 100 metres women's heat, and this features to be one of the premier events on day one of the Track and Field Championships. Alongside me, providing the expert analysis, as always, Hayden Sherman. And Hayden, the men's 100 metres ranks has been decimated somewhat, but I tell you what, the quality of this ladies' field makes up for it. Dead set stacked. The other great thing, Hayden, as you have seen, these young ladies are really performing. We could be in for something special today. Morning to you.
Yes, good morning, Nigel. It's great to be here in the Hawke's Bay sunshine. And yes, as you say, we have had a few big names did not start next to their names already. So a few key scratchings early on for those the men, but like you say, this women's field is incredible. It's the who's who of women's sprinting. As we go and see some of the warm-up jumps in the high jump, and I believe this is one of the tailors getting ready to go. I can never tell these sisters apart.
They were very impressive at the Porritt Classic, both of the Taylor sisters. But as we look to the heats of the women's 100 metres, as you see some of the competitors who have already been involved, we've had some walking events to get the action underway. That's the lady that everyone we suspect will be chasing, Zoe Hobbs, who's been in great form, a personal best of 11.35 this year. That was at a McKinnon Shield meet in Auckland in the second week of January, and just continuing to knock on the door of that New Zealand record held by the outstanding Michelle Seymour. Yeah,
she's been looking so great all season long, and I feel like Zoe she knows she's got that record in her, and she's just been waiting for her body and the weather and everything, her start, all to come together and just give her that perfect race. It's been elusive, but in saying that, she's PB'd in January, setting a new New Zealand resident record. But I'm sure she's aware of the ladies chasing her, and namely the local hero, Georgia Hulls, who's also dropped a personal best this year as well. So still, 0.3 of a second behind Zoe Hobbs, but this women's 100 metres is going to be very exciting. So heats for the women, and then just after lunchtime today we'll have the finals. The men, both under 20 and senior men, are straight finals. So that shows you how the change in date of this competition has really affected things.
So you just saw Lizzie Zabo there on the right of your screen, 2:07. That is Livy Wilson. 4:52. Maxine Chappell, Zoe Hobbs. 1:35. Rosie Elliott 3:47. Now Wilson, Hobbs and Elliott, of course, part of a very good 4x100 metres relay team. Zoe Taylor 1:93, and in the outside lane 7, that's Jordan Blake of Canterbury 2:18. But all eyes will be on Zoe Hobbs in lane number 4, bib number 135, and we're away. It's a really good start, actually, by Elliott, but there you see the class of Hobbs easing into her work very nicely. Got them nice and comfortable. She'll head down. That's a really good win, and funnily enough, it's Wilson in second along with Elliott, so those three leading contenders
Yeah, so top 3 and the next 2 best times going through. So the ones we expected going through nice and cleanly. I'm sure all these ladies are absolutely stoked after 3 weeks to finally get this nationals underway and to be out there running in beautiful sunshine. So you look at this beautiful technique from Zoe as she gets up to speed. She's got a great max velocity technique, and you can see her just nice and upright, eyes on the finish line, driving those knees forward.
Did you get the feeling, though, she was trying to hold back a little bit? I mean, as a sprinter, a little bit of afternoon sun, would that help increase velocity for what she is aiming for, which is trying to get this New Zealand record?
Yeah, and I think going at midday, what's the time they'll be running? 2 o'clock-ish?
Around 1:30, I think it is on the schedule.
Yes, you're right. 1:50 to be precise. So mark that one in your diaries. Put the little alert on. So midday sun and autumnal weather here in the Hawke's Bay. It's probably right now, 18 degrees, but by then hopefully we'll be up into the early 20s, and it should feel a lot warmer than that if this wind stays nice and light as it is. It's perfect conditions right now for like a 1500, but probably not quite perfect for a 100 metres.
Yep, so it will be a very good competition, though, as I say, because the other thing too is that this, in terms of sprinting, always has a very good, or have produced some very good times at this particular venue. Of course, we had the Napier in general, Hawke's Bay in general, we get some great times in terms of the sprinting. I guess not as much breeze, and of course that is the factor that you will hear right throughout when we're talking about the sprintings, whether it's a plus minus, whether they have that breeze at their back. As we now get a look at our second heat, and that's Lucy Sheet 404 on the right hand side of your screen, and Amy Robertson 177. Amy, of course, the favourite for the hurdles as well, doubling up. You see Helena Dennison of Canterbury and Simone Tafunai, very talented youngster in that inside lane. The rest of the field as well made up of Anna Piercy of Canterbury, Brooke Summerfield of Waikato Bay of Plenty, and Georgia Hulls. And that will be the lane to keep an eye out for. Yeah,
it's a really interesting lane draw actually, because the real speedy girls are on the outside with the Simone running there in lane 2, and then right on the outside Georgia Hulls, who we know will have a lot of friends and family supporting her, hometown hero.
And coming off a PB at the Sir Graham Douglas as well last time out, 11.64 seconds. So she must be feeling very, very confident.
And she's had the great scalp of taking down Zoe a couple of times in the 200 as well. So she'll be feeling pretty good about her sprinting right now. She's just 21 years of age, so coming into her prime. You can see there, she's happy to be at home, little smile on her face.
Well, why not? You sleep in your own bed. You don't have to sort of be asking the person at the hotel, can I have a softer pillow, or do you have a harder pillow, or things like that there. So you'll be absolutely full of it. And just great. And you mentioned as well the age too, such a great young group of sprinters, both genders, making their way through in New Zealand track and field at the moment. So as now everyone starts to get set as Georgia goes for a little gallop.
Yeah, get a little bit more time to work on those accelerations and keep the legs nice and warm.
So as we get ourselves ready for this particular heat, let's talk a little bit more over the course of the next couple of days. Hayden, what are the events that you're really looking forward to? Where do you think we might see something special, something spectacular?
Well, I'm one of those die-hard fans, so everything's special and spectacular. But as far as today goes, I mean, as a distance nut, the 5,000 metres is a big one. So we're going to see the juniors and the seniors. So the senior finals will be at 6 and 6:30 tonight. Also the 800 finals, but the big ones are obviously the sprints, the 100s and the 400s. But the field today, the field events, my gosh, it almost maybe it does overshadow the track events. Incredible lineup. So we've got the men's and women's shot. We've got the senior men's high jump with Hamish Kerr. We've got the senior women's hammer. And those alone would just make epic events to come and watch. So be sure to keep close to the coverage today. Send the link, of course, to your friends and family and club mates. Make sure they've got eyeballs on screen, because there's going to be some incredible events today.
Well, Hamish Kerr, I mean, he's personal best New Zealand record, 2 metres 31 in the high jump. An automatic Olympic qualifier is 2:33. And in recent events, like when he got the 2:31, he gave the 2:33 a crack, and all three attempts, they were so good, so close, and he appears as though he's an athlete that now he has breached that 2:30 barrier, and it's just like right now the sky's the limit. It's sort of like he's freed him up both mentally and physically. He's going to be fun. The other interesting one for me, as we just continue to wait here for the start of the second heats of the senior women's 100 metres, this really interesting challenge that Camille Buscombe, the 30-year-old out of Hamilton, has set herself, trying to do the triple, an 800, 1,500, 5,000 metre treble. Now, 15 and 5, she's been going really well. That 800, which we will get to see today, that could be the one. If she sets it up, it could be on.
It really could be on. And I know a lot of the girls who have been chasing her heels all season long will want to make sure that doesn't happen. But, man, that will be very cool to see. Now over to this exciting 100 metres, heat 2 of 2.
That is Georgia Hull. She is in lane 8. Tafunai is in lane 2. Got good speed. Nicely out of the blocks as well from Hulls. But she's going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on, because all the pace is coming from inside of her, and that is Anna Piercy. Hulls gets there, then from Tufanai and Piercy. So that's your top three going through.
Yeah, Anna Piercy looked really good. She got away to a good start right in the middle of the track. A few of them got off to a good start. It almost looked like Georgia was a bit slow out of the block, so maybe a bit of that morning slowness creeping in. But let's have a look there. So in the middle, 257. Going really strong, and it was only really here that we saw Georgia pull away and probably get about half a metre on Simone and Anna.
Yeah, Simone Tafunai there, just almost running a race on her own. All the eyes on those inside lanes of Hulls and Summerfield and Percy, but that was a great run by Simone Tafunai in lane number 2. She heads through to the final. And that final is going to be absolutely stacked. So that'll be one to look out for. 1:50 this afternoon, the women's 100 metres senior final.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't want to run a 500, those girls. But yeah, we can see on screen the under 20s high jump getting ready to roll. There we've got the start list, so we can go through that. We've got Sam McKinder, Michelle Farmer, Alice Taylor, Amelia Delatour, Maddie Wilson, Josie Taylor, and Courtney Troe. So Josie and Alice coming back from their fantastic performance at the New Zealand secondaries in December. And it'd be great to see this competition unfold in nice, still, warming conditions.
I was going to say, I think all athletes, no matter what they are doing today, will be very pleased with the weather conditions that Hawke's Bay has delivered. As you can see, just a little bit of wispy cloud over to the northern end. You see there, more of the athletes starting to make their way through. We've got the pole vault pit over on the far side, as you can see. Down the centre, we've already got some javelin action, which is underway. As we see the first of the prize givings that'll be taking place. This was for the under 20 walk from earlier in today. But we do mention as well, with regards to those other events that Hayden has been alluding to, I guess the features tonight will be the shot put, Tom Walsh. No doubt trying to, again, just rediscover and get himself off and rolling again. It was interesting watching Tom doing a little bit of warm-up this morning. He looked like Dale, his coach, had got a bit of a marker for him to try and aim or get in and around an early morning session for Tom Walsh. And he was not only getting it out there, but he was getting very, very close to this marker. I don't know if he was meant to be trying to target that particular marker or not, but he was getting very close in terms of the accuracy side of it.
Yeah, we don't know exactly how that how far that was, but to the naked eye, it looked about 22 metres.
It looked a long way.
Yeah.
It looked a very long way, and he was getting extraordinarily close to it.
And Dale Stevenson, his coach, was giving it some good nods of approval as he was throwing. So he's in good form. You may have just mentioned about Jacko not appearing at this competition.
I haven't got to that part yet, but please.
Yep. So we're unsure exactly what was going on there. May have a few little niggles, but I assume that it's a case of he was really focusing on that sort of January, February part of the season and is now backed off to a really heavy training load to get ready for the Northern Hemisphere summer, as you would. The big focus, of course, is Tokyo for these athletes. So a shame not to have Jacko here, but we can expect some dynamite from Tom. And also Nick Palmer is the second-ranked athlete in the shot put field, and it'll be good to see if he can improve. He had a half-metre improvement at Sir Graham Douglas, so he's getting up towards that 19-metre mark.
So just to get ourselves set, we'll be coming up with the under-20 women's 100 metres heats. This will feature the very impressive Hiniwai Knowles amongst others. Hayden, just talk to us a little bit. We mentioned it before, obviously having seen the high quality of that female sprinting field. What has happened with regards to the 100 metres? Because, the last time you and I were together at the Porritt Classic, we saw another great showdown between Edward Osai and Ketia and Tian Velpen. Now we're sort of hearing that Eddie is not here for family reasons. Tian carrying a bit of a niggle, I understand. Just talk to us a little bit about why that 100 metres field, which was looking really exciting, I guess it's just taken a smidge of a hit. Yeah,
4 weeks ago it was so hot. The senior men's sprinting was as hot as it's ever been here in New Zealand. So Eddie, his family's based in Canberra, so he obviously hasn't seen his family for about a year now. So going back home to catch up with family, which we totally understand. So
Absolutely.
Really shame to not have Eddie. And then Tian pulled up with a pretty nasty hammy strain. I'm not sure how bad it was, whether it was a strain or a tear, but certainly not enough time in the 4 weeks to get back from that Sir Graham Douglas hammy. He pulled up, stopped, and sort of stumbled across the finish line. Still ran sort of mid-12s for the 100, which is pretty impressive. And then I believe Joseph Miller is injured as well. So we've got a few of the big boys down, which opens it up for the other guys. And this is one of the exciting things. If you're one of those athletes coming into the season thinking, maybe I could push my way into a medal position, those athletes now are looking at the start list saying, genuinely on the cards to get my first national title, which is so exciting.
As we are continuing to watch some of the early rounds there in the long jump, and we are still waiting for this first of the heats of the under-20 women's. And we heard Hayden just mention it as well. Here we go, that's the pole vault that we are preparing for as well, with Ty Rhodes, Joshua Bull, Joshua Woodhead, Charlie Cameron and Ruben Vogel. And you see them, the group, the wonderful camaraderie as always in all of these different events. Lots of support that they will show. So you can see just in the foreground there, next competitor getting ready to go in the long jump. You've got the pole vault up and going. Of course, the pole vault's another one of the events I guess we'll be looking forward to a little bit later on as well.
Yeah, so we have, of course, Olivia McTaggart had that horrible injury recently, hurting her hand with the snapped pole. And if you've seen the video of that, the force of the pole as it snaps and then whiplashes down and crashes on the mat, it's quite incredible. It shows you the amount of force they need to apply into that pole to send them into the sky. But so no Olivia McTaggart, and let's see about Eliza. Yeah,
I think that's
she's on the start list. I haven't seen her around here, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, that is the exciting part. If Eliza is able to come back, I know she'd posted on Instagram a wee while ago. She was doing some work, as we see the first clearance there. That she had been doing some work. I think set a PB off an 8-metre run-up Sorry, an 8-step run-up, excuse me. So
Yeah.
good to see her back in action. It would be great to see her this afternoon. But this is one of the great mysteries, one of the great joys of track and field, is every once in a while, well, you don't know who is going to be there. You can have the odd late scratching here and there.
Yeah, the thing with athletics, I mean, these athletes are all pushing their bodies to do, hopefully, what they've never done before. And when you look at it in that context, it means that you're asking so much of your body. So if you're not 100%, if you're 99%, then for someone like Eliza, who's got her eyes on hopefully some big things later in the year, you need to be prepared to, although you've packed your bags, you've got your poles with you, you need to be prepared to pull the plug to allow your body to fully recover. Nice clearance there.
Yeah, that was nice work by Ruben Vogel. And just before, as well, at the high jump, you saw Michelle Farmer out of Taranaki with a miss as we move back to that high jump area. And this is Sam McKinder representing Manawatu Wanganui. So the bar at the moment set at 1 metre 56 centimetres.
Next event on the track is the women under 20 100 metre.
So a miss there for Sam. It's at 1:56 as we head back now to the first of our heats in the under 20 women's 100 metres. And as you've heard Hayden allude to, it's the top three in each heat plus the next two best times that will go through to the final this afternoon. Leah Pollock is in lane number 2 representing Canterbury. Selena G out of Auckland in 3. Celia Ward from Tasman in 4. Sarah Farmer, Taranaki in 5. Hiniwai Knowles, Waikato Bay of Plenty. It's Celia Ward on your screen there, 4:06. 3:93, Sarah Farmer. 4:29, that is Hiniwai Knowles, very talented young athlete out of the Waikato Bay of Plenty. So we're heading back over to the high jump. And that is Amelia Delatour with the clearance. And not only clearing, but clearing as well with the cap on as well.
Yeah,
something you
nice.
don't always see.
Important to be sun safe, even when you're jumping.
Well, if you come into Hawke's Bay, you got to be sun smart.
I know. I saw our camera crew lathering on the sunscreen, and rightly so, because it's set to be a nice sunny weekend. Won't be super hot, but we'll be in the early 20s all weekend long. So
it's a nice clearance by Courtney Trail out of Manawatu Wanganui at 1:56 as we move back now to this 100 metres. If you're wondering as well why Taranaki's got the handwritten bibs, there's been just a touch of a mix-up. Their bibs just having been picked up by a wrong group, so a few of the earlier athletes for Taranaki will have those handwritten bibs. There's another one of them as we see Michelle Farmer clear at 1:56, so that there will be rectified, no doubt. These things happen. Obviously, even though it is a smaller New Zealand Track and Field Championships, the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2021, there is obviously still quite a few people here, even though the numbers are slightly down. It's really nice clearance there.
Yeah, Joshua Bull there from Canterbury.
So here we are getting set. So let's just run through this again. It's Pollock in 2, G in 3, Ward 4, Farmer 5, Knowles 6, and Brianna Irving out of Hawke's Bay, Gisborne is in lane number 7. Underway. Look for Knowles there in lane number 6, and you can see her starting to stride away. She's a very talented young athlete, but this is a good effort from Irvin trying to stick with her, but anyone knows will go through. Also joining her will be Irvin, and I think was that
I think
Farmer
it's
possibly
Celia Ward. We might have to get another look at that. But you see the strength from Hiniwai Knowles, the reigning New Zealand secondary schools 100-metre hurdles champion, and you can almost see like her big strong arm motion. It's like a hurdler's arm drive, really cranking up those arms to power the legs to the finish.
Comes through in a time of 12.32 seconds. Irving second, 12.62, and it was Ward, 12.66 out of Tasman, taking the third spot. So they go through automatically. Next best we've got Farmer of Taranaki with 12.82 and Pollock of Canterbury with a 12.94. So there we go.
And wind readings is -1. So
that's -1 metre per second. So the negative reading isn't the one. We would like maybe a nice little plus 1.5.
Yep.
Can't have anything over 2.4. And then, of course, the times would not be official in terms of records or qualifications for whatever events are being targeted, obviously, for some of these athletes you're going to be seeing over the course of our coverage here on Sky Sport Next over the next 2 days. The target is trying to just tick off, get themselves maybe an automatic qualifier to the Olympic Games in certain situations. Of course, the qualifications for Olympics a little bit different now as we see Michelle Farmer back on the runway as the bar has been moved up to 161 and the high jump. And so the second of our heats coming up very shortly in the under 20s 100 metres women's. That'll feature Ellen Carter, Hayley Bond, Taylor Branger, Maya Broughton and Angelina Zickett, although here we see, I thought we'd lost Ellen for a moment, but no, she'd just gone for a wee trot down the track. She gets herself back into her position, so they're all running in lanes 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. There you see Hayley Bond out of Tasman alongside her. Taylor Branger. 2:21, that is Maya Broughton of Canterbury, and the 3:36, Angelina Zickett of Auckland. So that time that they'll be looking for is, they can't make the top 4, 12.88, the one they need to be inside.
Yeah, eyes on lane 5 there with Taylor Brunger. She's your National Secondary Schools champ at the 100 and the 400, so she's got both speed and speed endurance.
And pedigree as well.
Yes.
Mum went quite well, it's fair to say. So here we are, starters' hands. There you see the start from Taylor Branger, and you can see her starting to ease out. Going with her, though, is Maya Broughton at the moment, and Maya's making sure that Taylor's not having it all her own way. Those two are comfortable, though. They can ease down. They know that they are through. And Hayley Bond, that's got that third automatic spot through to the final. So Bondbranger and Broughton going through. Let's see what the times were for Carter and Zickert, whether they've been able to go through as two of the fastest non-qualifiers.
Yeah, look here, Maya Broughton almost getting just inching up on Taylor's shoulder there, but both knowing that they had it in the bag, and you do need to save your chips for later in the day. It's only a couple of hours turnaround before they'll be lining up in the final, so safely through there for those two.
Back over to pole vaults.
That's Ty Rhodes. Oh no, that's
Ruben Vogel again.
So yeah, he got second place at the New Zealand Secondary Schools back in December. And we jump over to the high jump.
Sorry, just getting information coming through and just confirming what Hayden had alluded to earlier on, that there will not be heats of the men's 100 metres. It will be a straight final. So a straight final in the men's 100. So no heats being run this morning. So our next action on the track will be heading to the 400 metres under 20s.
An interesting little dynamic that might outplay itself this weekend is Shea Veach, who's lined up to go in the 100 metres. So he's one of those guys that wouldn't have counted himself a chance of winning the national title in the 100 metres. But now with a few openings, that's definitely a possibility. But also he's the leading Kiwi long jumper this year as well. So could we see that double being done this weekend, the long jump and the 100 metre title? So eyes on Shea Veach.
Well, let's talk a little bit as we, again, we'll keep bouncing in and around. There's always, you know, if you watch track and field, if you don't, watching for the first time, thanks for tuning in to Sky Sport Next. I'm Nigel Olden, Hayden Sherman providing the analysis for you. Always something to see at a track and field meeting, which is the reason why you really do get such bang for your buck when you attend these sort of events. But Hayden, I want to go back to this 800, 1500, 5000 that Camille Buscombe is having a crack at. And she'll really set it up today because she runs in the 800 metres. She is not going to be the favourite for that particular event. It's the one, though, that I guess she'll have the surprise value to a degree. We've heard of people trying these sort of things in the past. I think the most famous probably was Zadapek, was it, who did the 5,000, 10,000 marathon double. I think I've got the name wrong.
Yeah,
It was Zadapek. It was Zadapek, didn't it? Yeah, that was at the Olympics.
Sure.
It's still one of the greatest ever. The challenger, look, we know she can do 5K standing on her ear running backwards if she wants to, okay, and she'll probably win that one reasonably comfortably. In terms of that 800 today, what's the challenge for someone who generally runs 5 and 10K coming back to what, for her, really is just going to be a sprint race?
Absolutely.
So what's the
2
biggest
laps
challenge going to
pretty
be for Camille if she could achieve, and it would be an amazing achievement if she could do that.
Yeah, you're right. The 800 is the real big one, and then the 1500 comes down to how tactical it's going to be. But this year, Camille's ranked 6th in the country with a tour 8.4. But then the best in the country is by Rebecca Green, 207.4. So there's only 1 second separating the top 6 women in New Zealand at the 800. So that means that it's going to be very exciting to see how that race unfolds. If I'm her, I sit back in the pack and try to kick down and use that distance strength that she's got. But certainly it sets her up for a really cool challenge. And she said that that's what she wants from her domestic season. She can't train overseas.
She's bored. That's the sort of a challenge someone says when they're a little bit bored.
Well,
I'm in lockdown. I wonder, could I run the equivalent of running from Hamilton to Manawatu and back again? That sort of a thing.
It is a little bit like that. But I think it's not just boredom. It's also working on that speed. So we know that she's a sub 15-minute 5K runner. But in order to be really competitive on the international stage, you also need that really great closing ability. And that's what doing these 800s and 1500s is going to help feed into that speed, that leg speed. So she can feel confident, like, yeah, I can drop a low 60-second last lap and really compete with those top girls who do kick it down in the international stage. So I think it's a really smart move from her to inject a bit of speed into her Olympic build-up.
So as we see some more of the medal ceremonies which are taking place, as I say, at the moment we've got the high jump underway. We've got action as well over at both the high jump and the long jump areas. Javelin just finishing up too, as we head back over now to the high jump. This here is Amelia Delatour from Auckland.
Ooh, just shaving that one off.
Yeah, just clipping. That was at 161, and we believe that was her second effort at that particular height. We'll go back now over to the pole vault, one of our 2 Canterbury contenders. This is the under 20s. That's nicely done. That's a really good clearance there. That's good work. That is Joshua Bull. Charlie Cameron, the other Cantabrian.
Yeah, so Joshua Bull won this event last year, so he knows what to do to get the gold. Wearing the baggy shorts too. That's always risky business. You don't want it to be your shorts that takes down the bar, but nice and controlled on that one. And he's had a good 12 months or so, taking up the New Zealand Secondary Schools title and the under 20s title, and he'd love to bag another one here today.
Making the 161 look very easy on the high jump there was Maddie Wilson out of Canterbury. I think that was his provincial teammate there of Bull, Charlie Cameron.
Now, I also have to do a shout out to our race walkers this morning for those who are wondering what happened with the results. Courtney Rusk took out the senior women's in time of 14:28. And then the women's under 20, Antonia Martin won that in 16:37. And in the men's under 20 3,000 metres, Daniel Detroit won in 13:31, just 16 seconds ahead of Jonah Kropp.
Yeah, well, Jonah actually put in a really good effort. Just got a couple of warnings and just sort of maybe eased him back a little bit. But they were a couple of really good races this morning.
It's the frustrating thing in a race walk. You can't just sprint and claim
Well,
back
I mean,
that 17 seconds in the last lap or something.
Well, it's such a different dynamic, I guess, because we're always so used to watching the likes of 20 and 50K race walks at either Commonwealth Games or Olympics or World Championships and that sort of thing. I mean, 3,000, it's a sprint. It's just an absolute sprint for the race walkers.
And it's all about leg speed. You know, you talk about sprinters, it's leg speed, but it's also power, that ability to chew up as much ground per stride. But for race walkers, you're limited to your stride length, so it comes down to how physically fast can you move your legs. And their cadence is incredible.
Without breaking form, without breaking technique, and not falling foul of the judges. It has got to be one of the more mentally taxing sports going around, because you're doing all of this physical work, as you point out, but you've got to be so technically accurate, because if you are just off by half a beat, you're falling yourself foul and you're finding yourself sitting on the side watching for the remainder of the race.
As Charlie Cameron just knocks it down. I'm not sure if that was his last attempt. It's sort of the expression of a man who's just done his last attempt at that height. But yeah, you're right. And I remember I was at the Sydney Olympics back in 2000, and I think it's the Australian girl who went into under the stadium in the lead, ready to win the walk, and got disqualified. Just heartbreaking. It is one of those highly technical, niche sports, but they are really true athletes. We see our para athletes from the 800 metres earlier.
Trying to think of the name, Jane Saville. Jane Saville is the lady that you are referring to as we look back over to the long jump. And just for a very brief aside, if you want to search it out, there was a fabulous piece of writing done with regards to that particular moment involving Jane Saville. It was a brilliant bit of writing about the judge who had to DQ her.
Oh, wow.
And they tracked him down. I think he was an Italian judge, and an Australian journalist tracked him down, found him living in a remote-ish part of Italy, I think it was, and had this amazing...
Hiding from every Australian on the country.
That's the thing. It was an amazing conversation and an amazing story. Awesome. And if you do have an opportunity to hunt it down online, as we see Amelia Del Tour, if you do get the chance for it, fantastic bit of journalism and an amazing conversation. It was very, very open and forthright and comfortable talking about it and being effectively for that particular period of time public enemy number one at the Olympic Games for DQing Australia's sweetheart. So
Stephen Thorpe on the long jump runway for the men's under 20. So it's mostly the under 20s in the field at the moment. In fact, it's all under 20s. We also have the men's para long jump, which is a senior competition, running at the same time.
Now, of course, that is one thing that people may not be aware of. As some of you will know, this particular event was meant to take place around about a fortnight ago. Was cancelled because at the time of the COVID restrictions that were in place. They have had to make some adjustments. It was meant to be a 3-day event. It is down to 2. And the under-18 athletes who were also meant to compete here, they have been removed. So what you will see over the course of the remainder of today and tomorrow, under-20s, para-athletes and the senior athletes, but the under-18s not taking part. And we've had North Islands and South Islands, and so they've got plenty of competitions there for those athletes.
You're right.
I can understand the decision myself.
Yeah, and disappointing. Hearts go out to all those athletes that were hoping to get their hands on a national title or come to nationals. But like you say, in 2 weeks' time, they'll be able to do North Islands and South Islands, and it's a big thought that the officials poured into is the development pathways for these young athletes and not overworking them. So, if you're going from national champs to North Island, South Island, secondary school champs, that's a big part of it. But talking to Pete Fitzinger last night, CEO of Athletics New Zealand, he's also said one of the big motivations to scale the event back was the very likely chance that we may be in a level 2 situation, and just going through the scenarios of how to work an athletics event with close to 1,000 athletes when you're in level 2 was just impossible logistically. They worked it out for the under-20s and the seniors, and that's why they've been able to book this one in and be confident that they could go ahead at level 2. Of course, we're at level 1, so we don't need to worry about that, but that was in the back of their minds. They don't want to be in a position where they have to cancel this event at level 2. So, yeah, making the best of a tricky situation, as we've done for the last year.
And the other thing that we need to remember as well, in terms of for the senior athletes, ranking points, so significant from an Olympic Games, because the most ranking points you can generate in your own country comes from winning a national title or being in those top 8s at the national championships. So big opportunities here, and it is quite significant because as we head back over to one of the Taylor sisters doing what they do so well over there, and that was a clearance at 165 and straight out of the gate as well. So a really good start over there. I think it's Maddie Wilson and the two Taylor sisters out of Waikato Bay of Plenty who are left at the moment with the bar set at 165.
There's Joshua Bull.
That's nice.
432 on the bar there. Really nice from Josh. He looks around. He's pretty stoked with that one.
Great reactions. Great reactions. One thing about the pole vaulters, generally you know what they're thinking. They don't hide their emotions at all. And it's great to see.
That's the sort of expression. Did I just get over that? Was that the bar at 432 and I cleared that? That was great.
So here is
great work from Joshua. So last year he won the title with the 410 vault. So that puts it into perspective. And he also won the National Secondary Schools title with the 415. So he is jumping well. And that was a personal best by a centimetre. So there we go.
That was a nice clearance there by Maddie Wilson out of Canterbury in the under-20 women's high jump. So it's Alice Taylor, Josie Taylor, Maddie Wilson, the three athletes that here we see. That is Josie Taylor. So Jason likes to approach from the right-hand side of the bar. She works her way in. Oh, she's made that look very, very easy. Plenty of room to push that bar up. Straight over, have a quick chat with Dad, Coach. And lovely technique.
Yeah, looked like she had plenty of room to spare there. So, yeah, Josie is she's had the edge over her sister Alice, but Alice also a multi-eventer, so not specialising currently in the high jump.
We'll see a few of those. There you go, 165. That's where the bar currently is for the under-20 women's high jump. So it's Wilson and the Taylors. Currently at the moment, that bar is going to get moved up as we make our way back over to the long jump area, which runs parallel to the pole vault. So it's just a little bit of cloud comes over, which I'm sure won't be too disconcerting to any of the athletes at the moment. Would be nice if they can get, Hayden was saying, just a little bit of warmth, particularly this afternoon when we get the sprinters doing their thing.
The Abhijit Palmer getting the support from the crowd.
Yeah, nice little crowd as well that's assembled over there on the far side. So here we go. This is Alice Taylor, and you can see Alice coming and attacking from the left-hand side. Another nice clearance, and all three of these young ladies are making these heights look very simple. Bar up at 169.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alice's best this year, personal best was set earlier this year, 173. So getting up close to that. Maddie Wilson's best is 174 from a couple of years ago. So this could be interesting to see how this plays out. Josie Taylor's best is up at 185, and she's actually the leading woman in the country, seniors and juniors.
Maddie's just
let's
actually
see where this goes.
Yeah, Maddie's actually just missed. Caught that out of the corner of our eyes. We look here at Josh Ball, just corner out of the corner of my eye there. Maddie Wilson just missing with her first attempt at 169, and of course those misses do count with regards to if they have to go to a count back system. So they go back to Josie Taylor. The one thing that always stands out about the Taylor sisters, never look flustered. We talk about how expressive certain other athletes are. These young ladies always have a lovely, calm demeanour about what they are doing, very focused, very relaxed. As Josie gets set for an attempt at 1.69 m.
Beautiful. Just a little shave of the bar there, but as you say, nice and relaxed. Casually clearing that one.
You get the feel the coach is probably a little bit more stressed than what the athletes are. They look lovely and relaxed over there. Maddie Wilson will be next up again as they look to clear 169.
We're back with Joshua Bull. So the bar's gone up to 440. So this will be his first attempt at 440. I believe he has won the competition in the under 20s pole vault. But this, of course, is trying to extend that personal best. So he's gone clear at 432 this morning. Oh, nice from Maddie.
Yeah, just clipped it on the way up on her first attempt that we didn't get to see on screen, but she's made a really nice job there and made a lovely adjustment. So she continues, although you wonder whether that is Terry Lomax lurking. You do wonder whether, that little miss could come back and bite, as I say, if it was to come back to a count back system. So now we see the bar go up, and that will go up to 173. 173.
And I can tell you that Joshua Bull was unsuccessful with his first attempt at 440.
So just a very rare quiet moment here at the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field National Championships. I have to say thank you to Jennian Holmes. Feels like a family, absolutely. Kennedy Park, by the way, too. If you're looking for an unforgettable family fun or business experience, step into the oasis of Kennedy Park. It's located in Napier. The resort-style accommodation options offer something for everybody. Great to have those outstanding organisations and others.
William Stedman here on the the long jump runway.
Jump by Paralympian. Just a little clip. And again, as you see, just focused, head back over, get the feedback from coach. We chat and then we'll be heading straight back out. So the bar now up at 173. As we come back across, and there we see Maddie Wilson. Great to see the provincial colours being worn. Canterbury to have a good contingent up as well.
Yeah, so Maddie just was edged out of the medals in this competition last year, coming in at 4th place with a best of 164. So it was actually Alice that took the bronze in the under-20s last year, and Josephine Reeves got the silver with Josie Taylor taking the gold. So it'll be interesting to see how these three play out. Obviously, Maddie's got her hands on a medal of some colour this year. And we'll see what colour that is. Really, the battle you'd think would be between Alice and Maddie. On paper, Josie has the higher heights, but you never know in high jump. It can be your day, and it can definitely not be your day when it comes to these more technical jump events. As Josie just composes herself.
I'm looking at some results that have flashed up on our screen with regards to the women's 100 metres senior.
My gosh.
If that time is accurate, and I do have to say this is unconvincing, if that time is accurate, Zoe Hobbs has broken the New Zealand record by 0.2 of a second.
Far out.
We're going to have to get this clarified and just let's go and have a look at this one, because if that's the case, that is extraordinary.
That is extraordinary, and that would make my weekend. Just that one.
I'm just trying to get some confirmation of the results, because we've just had literally as that particular race was going. It was one of the first races just before our timing information had come up. We'd had just a couple of little technical issues at the moment. If that is accurate, goodness gracious me.
11.14. So that's what we have on our screens. I'm going to leave you and hunt out.
You do
we
that.
Need to
we
find
do that.
out
We're going to send Detective Senior Sergeant Hayden Sherman out on a mission right now to get clarification. Because if that is the case, that is a New Zealand record. It would break a record which has stood since 1993, set by Michelle Seymour at the Melbourne Track Classic, the 25th of February. So we need confirmation of that. As I say, it was a few things that we were trying to get sorted. Did not have it at the time. But if accurate, we could have a New Zealand record having been broken. But Hayden Sherman is on the way. He is gone. He is looking. He is up. And he will be back shortly with regards to whether that is accurate or whether there is maybe just another issue that is just being sorted. So, just trying to get confirmation on Zoe Hobbs and see what the case is. Here he is. What'd you find, Snoop?
Sorry to disappoint everyone.
Okay.
It didn't look like an 11.14 to me. It was an 11.44.
11.44, righty ho.
So something's happened where some wires got crossed somewhere.
So now we can pump the brakes and take a nice deep breath as we see Alice Taylor with a smile having cleared 173.
11.44 is still really good.
That was my next point. You just saw the great team at the Stream Shop there put that replay up there for you. 11.44 is good. She's got a PB which is 11.35, which she sent earlier. She struck me as she eased off ever so marginally towards the end. Hayden Sherman, is it on for this afternoon? If she's easing up like that, gets in the final with the likes, of Elliot and Eddie and all those people around her.
Yeah.
It could be on, couldn't it? Because racers love to race, and 100 metres and 200 metres sprinters, they are racers first and foremost.
Absolutely, and I think it will all come down to how hot it is, what the wind is doing. If we can just get some perfect midday summery weather, I think it could be all on. Back to Joshua Bull with the bar at 440. And I think that was his last attempt there. So he's your champion.
Gee, wasn't far off, was he?
Not too
Wasn't far off.
It looked like he had the height, just getting that torso over the bar. So that's the height on the high jump.
So we're talking Zoe Hobbs, Rosie Elliott, Livy Wilson in the mix with that one there as well. I think Lily Szabo is going to be in that final too. Georgia Hulls. Look, it could be on. It would be great to see. It would be really neat to see that. There you see the height for the high jump.
And not just Zoe, it's all the other girls behind her getting pulled along,
Yeah.
pushing Zoe and getting pulled along to faster times. Like we've got 10 girls under 12 seconds currently. Wouldn't it be great to have, 8 mid-11s rather than high 11s?
Well,
so, yeah, that's what I'm really excited to see as well.
Yeah, and of course it comes back as we see here the under-20s 5,000 metres final, and this here is where Hayden Sherman absolutely comes into his own, the middle distance guru of our commentary team. Hayes, Lambert, Rowe, Walker, Clark, Carr, Zanuck, Anthony and Ben Bidouar out of Waikato Bay of Plenty rounding off that particular field.
Yeah, Ben Bidouar won this title last year, the senior men's under 25,000 metres. That was in a time of 15:40, which you can tell by that time would have been just a little bit tactical, and it's going to be interesting to see how that 5,000 plays out with some very speedy boys in the mix that you'd want to be well clear of in that last lap. So I'm sure there'll be some guys who want to take it out nice and strong and maybe work together. So we'll see how that unfolds. Back to this long jump.
Just having a look there. Good. Legal jump there. As you see the field for that 5,000. So the bar currently set at 177 over in the under 20 women's. There we see Josie Taylor. Earlier we saw her sister Alice just clatter into the bar head first. Just not getting the timing quite right. Nice big deep breath. Just clipping that one. Again, as you see there, just the no show of emotion. Straight off the mat, over to coach. What did you see? Get the feedback, line up and go again. So we getting set. We get a nice replay of this long jump attempt. I don't have that name or number on my start sheet. I do apologise. Love to give him a shout out. That was a nice wee effort. As we head back over to start of the 5,000 metres. Everyone checks the watch. Up to the line. And off they go. As I say, Hayden Shearman. This is right in his particular wheelhouse. It's Will Anthony from Wellington who heads straight to the front, and Ben Bidouin out of Waikato Bay of Plenty just dropping straight in behind him.
Yeah, so Will Anthony was second place at the New Zealand Secondary School's 3,000 metres, and so we can definitely look to the likes of Will Anthony, Cameron Clark, Ben Bidouin, really mixing this one up. Who's that? Max Janzik there in third place.
Canterbury. I think I called him Yannick before, but it is Janzik. My apologies to the Janzik family for that one there. We see Cameron Clark just move to the outside and try and push his way forward a smidge.
Yeah, so good steady start here. I'm liking this from Will Anthony, just taking it out nice and strong. The 5,000 metres it's a long event. It's the longest event that we have at this competition. And definitely, if you can take it out nice and fast and then hopefully get a little bit of assistance later on in the race, you can just block at some of those guys with less of an engine and more of wheels, and set it up for more of a true distance race.
Another miss there by Alice Taylor. So Josie Taylor now with her second attempt. That was the second for Alice. So as they work through, it is Will Anthony, Ben Bidouin, just very relaxed and comfy, like he's out for a training jog. It's Cameron Clark, 228 from Canterbury, who's moved up into that third spot. As the field just pushes out ever so slightly. Running in fourth there at the moment is Richmond Walker out of Hawke's Bay, Gisborne.
Yeah, one of the hometown heroes for the weekend, and good to see him just keeping up nice and close. But these two looking like they're just pulling away a little bit. So Will Anthony and Ben Bidouin.
Let's go back now to Josie Taylor. 177. I didn't feel quite right on that one too. So two misses for both Josie and Alice at 177.
So these guys not mucking around. They went through and what was it, about 2:11 at the 800. So anything under 2:24 is going to be under 15 minutes, which is nice and quick for these guys. So let's have a look and see if we can get a split at the 1K, which will give us a good indication of what Will Anthony's come here to do. So 2:46 at the 1K. So that's quick. That's really quick.
The thing, it is quick, but I tell you what, Ben Bidwar is just looking really comfortable sitting in behind him, just letting him do a little bit of the work. It's Cameron Clark trying to just hold on as there's now really two distinct groups as Clark just puts on a little bit of a push to try and get onto the back of Bidwar. So it's Anthony, Bidwar and Clark. Then there's quite a gap, probably around about 25 metres as we drop all the way back to the next group, which features Richmond Walker, then Janzik, now competitor out of Taranaki, that is McCullum Rowe, and then George Lambert as well out of Manawatu Whanganui. But so it's the leading three you see that have broken away quite nicely. And so it'll be a surprise if the top three doesn't come out of this particular group, but strange old things middle distance racing, as Hayden Shearman can allude to as he looks back.
And I'm probably calling it about 60 metres next to the pack. So back to the pack of 5 as we, just see Cameron just slipping off the back of those two. So he needs to stay with him because he'll find himself in no man's land. And like you say, these guys have gone out so hard that you could see someone blow up, and the likes of Mac Rowe and that chasing pack could come through and pick up potentially one of the minor medals.
It does look as though maybe that little spurt is just sort of taken a bit out of Cameron Clark, and as you say, that gap between Cameron, who's currently in third spot, back to McCullum Rowe, who has now sort of pushed his way forward away from that chasing quintet. Now got a bit of a space, still plenty of time in this particular event, as I say, 5,000 metres, so 12 and a half laps of the 400 metre track here at the Hawke's Bay Regional Sports Park. And just a light breeze, and it's behind them as well at the moment, just judging by the flags as they come down the main straight. And so that is Will Anthony with the advantage at the moment. There you can see just a little bit of a break back to Cameron Clark. Just a little gap there from Anthony back to Bidwar. You won't want to lose too much connection with the man in first.
Absolutely. You get a good benefit just sitting on the tail. I mean, these guys are running well over 20 Ks per hour at the moment. So you can benefit a lot from that drafting effect and also that mental effect of not having to set your own pace. But right now, pulling away, Will Anthony. This is a really bold move. So we're coming up to 2K now. It'll be interesting to see what that split is after they went through in 2:46. So we've had a definite slow up, but still 2:43. So 5:43 for that one. So that's my math serves me right, about a 2:57. So he's still well on pace for going well under 15 minutes. But just burning off this field. This is great from Will. He's just decided, I've come here to just time trial it, run it from the front. And in the space of 200 metres, Ben Bidwar has been spat out the back. He's now running with Cameron Clark. And that chasing pack with Mac Rowe of Taranaki are closing in.
Well, Bidwar just looks so comfortable, so relaxed. And now, as you say there, you see Will Anthony disappearing off into the distance. Clark has just run around the outside of Bidwar. McCullum Rowe has come through in fourth. Then Max Janzik in fifth spot. But Anthony looking very comfortable, very relaxed. I can tell you that both of the Taylor sisters missed at 177. So
interesting.
All of them and I'm thinking with regards to the count back as well, I think they were even on the count back too, so could we be heading to a jump off possibly? So Anthony.
That lead has opened up to about 70 metres now. It's incredible. In the space of 400 metres, it just shows the pace. I mean, he looks so relaxed, does Will Anthony, and it just shows the pace that he's setting. He's dropped Ben Bidwar, dropped Cameron Clark, and now the pack is hunting those two. So I mentioned before the outside chance of the likes of Mac Rowe and that chasing pack to come through and sneak a minor medal. That's well on now, as we see the sisters working out a bit of game plan.
It's having a little bit of fun and games in between. You see, Will Anthony has a look over his shoulder. He's got enough time where he could actually just about turn around, run backwards for 10 metres, get a real assessment, and then keep going. He's not going to. Clark is in second from Bidwar, who again has just dropped into the trail there. So as they head down, this is a monster break. It is nigh on 85 metres now for Will Anthony of Wellington. This is the 5,000 metres under 20s for men.
Yeah, so I've just looked up Will's personal best. He's got a personal best of 14:31 in this event, but also a personal best of 8:16. So he's about 100 metres behind his personal best for the 3K, if that kind of makes sense. So he's running very well and doing all this solo right from the gun. He chose to go for it, and this will be something that him and his coach decided as we go through 3K. 8:39.
The lead is at 100 metres. We'll cut back and show you what is now coming a group of 4 almost in the battle for the other 2 podium spots. Will Anthony is just absolutely doing this in a doddle. Coming past our commentary position, it's Cameron Clark in second, Ben Bidwar is in third. Then we go back to Max Janzig, and then it's McCullum Rowe. And a bit of a gap back to George Lambert and Sam Hayes.
Yeah, this battle for the minor medals is going to really heat up, because you wonder how much work Cameron Clark and Ben Bidwar had to do to keep up with Will Anthony, that just blazing start, who continues to just light up this track. And he looks like he's out for a Saturday morning tempo run, Friday morning tempo run. Just looking so composed and beautiful running. I'm loving this from Will Anthony.
I was about to say, later on in this broadcast, Hayden Shearman will explain the difference between a Friday morning tempo run and a Saturday morning tempo run. Well, great to be alongside. Great to be working alongside the professor. The lead is 130 metres now.
Yep,
the chasing pack is just coming into the home straight as we see Will rounding the top bend. And it is lovely running, just nice and relaxed.
So that was Richmond Walker he went past. So Richmond tried to go with that early pace in that first pack of 4 early on, and now just suffering for that early start. And this is one of the great lessons of distance running. It is about pacing, knowing your fitness, and setting that appropriate pace right from the gun, which Will Anthony is just putting on a masterclass, assuming that he can still hold it together. He's looking pretty good. His splits have been 2:46 for the first K, very quick to start with, and then a slow down to 2:57, but he's held that with a 2:56 on the next lap, on the next K. So we're coming up close to 4K. And running really well.
We need to get a camera on Hayden Shearman for these middle distances. He's got pens out. He's looking. He's got 2 computers in front of him. He's looking at times, clocks, and he's writing stuff down. If he had an abacus, he'd be utilising that as well.
Have you got one? Did you bring one?
I take my. Haven't you got the abacus app on your smartphone? Yes. Here's Anthony just continuing. Now he's just about in the back straight. The chasing pack just making their way down.
Onto the home straight.
Now it's a couple of Cantabrians who are chasing, because it's Cameron Clark and Max Janzig. They are the ones, Janzig I should say, who are just going over the start-finish line now. So there you go, almost a full half lap that Will Anthony has opened up. Then it's the Canterbury pair in second and third. Then it is McCullum Rowe out of Taranaki in fourth, and Ben Bidwar just fading a touch.
So just a slight slow up there from Will Anthony. 3:02 for that kilometre. So that's only very slight. And for the 4th kilometre, you'd expect that. And right now, I'm sure he'll be thinking, I've got this national title in the bag. Let's hammer it home. 11:41 at the 4K mark. He could potentially break his PB if he can kick it down with a sub 250 last K. And he's looking good. What a run from this young boy.
He's going very well. 2 laps to go. A name just popped into my head. This is me being very old, ladies and gentlemen, so please just bear with us over this. A name that, when we're looking at distance running and the way he's cleared out, the name John Ngugi popped into my mind.
Nice.
Kenyan runner who he used to do it in 5 and 10. He would just literally just go out from the start, just go bang, get himself around about 75 metres and just maintain it.
Hold it.
Just hold it right the way through to the finish. And just watching Will here, it's actually a different style of runs, but I don't know why John's name came into my head, but brilliant middle distance runner.
The name that came to my head was another olden day runner, Steve Prefontaine. So
yes,
that's
a great
American
example. Yes, very good example.
So Will Anthony, a little bit of fashion advice. If you grow a little moustache right now, you'd be doing a wonderful Steve Prefontaine.
Oh, needs to get a little bit more length in the hair for the great Steve Prefontaine coming down for the bell.
But certainly that gutsy front running is what we're talking about, and coming in to get the bell. What a run from this boy. 13:29 on the clock. Let's see how fast he can kick it home after that fast start to get things opened up. He's going to be claiming a under 25,000 metre title, you'd think, surely. Nothing can happen from here. The lead is what?
Famous last words in sport. Let's hope we don't have the ultimate commentator's curse going on here. But
the lead is 230 metres.
Yeah.
The other two Cantabs are just coming in. Well, they're mid-home straight now, so he could look over his left shoulder and see them about to get the bell. Here we go. 200 metres left to run. Will Anthony showing them all how it's done here.
It's a beautiful display of middle distance running from a young man who's clearly got some absolute talent. He keeps looking over his shoulder. If he wants to see where his nearest opponents are, he actually needs to look forward. Because he comes into the home straight, his chasing duo from Canterbury are in the back straight. But this has just been the Will Anthony show, Heyman.
It really has. And here he comes. He's not going to get a personal best. But I'm going to stand up and applaud this guy, because what a run right from the gun. 14:40. Fantastic, Will Anthony. Take a bow. That was some impressive distance running.
That was very impressive. And now he's probably going to have to wait maybe another 25 to 30 odd seconds for the chaser to come through for the silver medal. And it looks as though it's going to be Cameron Clark, who's got a bit of a kick on and has distanced himself away from Max Janzik.
Yeah, good finish here from Cameron. He was one of those guys who tried to go with that early pace, found it too hot, eased back, and has been able to reserve a bit of energy for a nice kick home for a second place. Max comes through for third. Well-earned bronze medal after a very intriguing 5,000 metres as Mac Rowe takes that fourth place from Taranaki. He'll be back for the 1,500 metres tomorrow, assuming the legs can bounce back.
George Lambert just making his way down as well out of Manawatu Wanganui. And then we will see Bidouin coming through as well, as we will take a short break here on Sky Sport Next as our coverage of the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships continues.
Jennian Homes have been proudly building the homes New Zealanders love for over 35 years and encouraging youth to achieve their hopes and dreams. Jennian Homes is proud to partner with the New Zealand Olympic Games team.
We know a country that will refresh you and recharge you and just make you feel a whole lot better about things. This country is food and wine country, but you probably know it as Hawke's Bay.
From the schoolyard to the stadium, Aon has been helping Kiwis strive for sporting success on a local, regional and national level for over 20 years. We're proud to support New Zealand's sporting organisations and communities up and down the country. As New Zealand's leading insurance broker, we can also support you when it comes to your insurance. With expert advice and local service. From quote to claim management, we're with you every step of the way. Talk to your local Aon insurance broker today.
So here we are, the under-20 discus for men. This is the field. Trent Hogg, Joshua Bull, having just done the pole vault. Go throw the disc. Blessing Siffel, Max Abbott, Quinn Motley, and Cademan Hawkins. Great to see these athletes, and Joshua having just won a pole vault national championship. You see the para athletes as well. Daniel Meyer of Northland and Nikau Pepe. Well, Nikau's already broken one national mark this morning. I think it was with either his first or second throw on the javelin. So his form already very good. And also as well, not too far away from a start in the women's 5,000 metres. And there you see the 5 athletes.
Small but quality field there. So a lot of athletes who have seen a lot of each other over the summer. So the 2 Brown sisters from Auckland and Hannah Gapes had a great battle at the New Zealand secondary schools. Isabella Richardson there, the other Aucklander, will also want to be mixing it up. So is it just these 4 maybe, or we got another athlete? So it could just be these 4. So that creates an interesting situation, avoiding that 4th position.
So in terms of, given the familiarity then, and given the smallness of the field, does anything change in terms of tactics at this particular age group? I mean, what are they looking to do? Will we see maybe someone try and switch it up and thinking, hey, last time I raced them, she did this, maybe this time I'm going to do this, and they've been talking with the coach. You've got 3 athletes from the same province.
Yeah.
If they have the same coach, I mean, what sort of, do they even discuss those sort of things, Hayden?
Yeah, and I think that the 2 sisters are interesting. Like, we've just had the Taylors in the high jump, and now we've got the Browns. And so Chloe typically just getting the edge over her sister Bella. But Hannah Gapes, I believe she won the 1500 at the New Zealand secondary schools over those 2. Yeah, she did win the 1500. So we know that she can close well. But Chloe won the 3,000 metres, so maybe she's got a little bit more strength, and is also the reigning New Zealand under 20 3,000 metre champ. So, if it's me and you think you're a bit more of a strength runner, maybe you want to put a bit of distance between the likes of Hannah, who might have a little bit more wheels. But let's see if these sisters play it together and see a little bit of the team tactics. See there. Chloe and Bella wearing 112, 113. And Hannah Gapes, the taller figure from Rotorua, and Isabella Richardson wearing number 175 on the outside.
So, 4 Aucklanders, 1 representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, and they're underway. 12.5 laps of this 400-metre track at the Hawke's Bay Regional Sports Park.
And it looks like there's no rush at all. A small bunch is already bunching. So when you've got 4 people and you're running in lane 2, you know the pace isn't particularly hot, as Hannah just decides, okay, I will take the first lap, ladies, and get this pace rolling. So here we go. The under 20 women's 5,000 metres, 12.5 laps around this track in Hawke's Bay. Nice sunshine here. If you've just tuned into the coverage, it is just a light wind, maybe blowing down that home straight, a little tailwind down that home straight.
And that is Daniel Meyer, one of our para athletes. That is one of the 3 competitors in the para senior final for the discus. It will be run concurrently with the men's under 20 final. And so we'll be cutting backwards and forwards between the field and the track competitions that's going on at the moment, as we see our small field in the women's 5,000 metres under 20s. Just work their way down that back straight for the first time. Of course, later on this evening, it'll be one of the features. Hayden Shearman just put a massive big circle around it on his schedule. The 5,000 for both men and women. Camille Buscombe will be red hot favourite in that women's race. And the men's, well, they've got the freak, Hayden Wild. He's going to be competing.
I tell you,
that one as well.
That men's race is one to absolutely watch. You've got Hayden Wild, the triathlete, 13:29 runner recently, but also you've got local hero Eric Speakman, 13:31 5K runner. So as these ladies take through 600 metres in 2 minutes flat. And nice and even. The Brown sisters, you can see their tactics, just sitting in at the back, so they're prepared to just sit in and see what happens. It's exact opposite to what I suggested may happen, with Hannah maybe sitting at the back and letting the Brown sisters do the work up the front. But we've got a nice little train running along there.
So that thrower you just saw was Nikau Pepe out of Tasman. As I said, Nikau having already set a New Zealand mark, a New Zealand record in the javelin earlier on this morning, one of the first events to actually get underway. I think he actually broke that just as we came on air at 10:05 this morning. Nikau, a very, very talented para athlete, and a name maybe to just keep the ear out for, as he is just really starting out in his para athletics career. One to just keep your ear out. That's a name that might pop up on a regular basis. And so into the home straight as the train forms, with the lady from Waikato Bay of Plenty at the front, and the three Aucklanders in behind. Enough time there for Chloe just to adjust the ponytail as well as she comes down the home straight.
So 3:20, that's actually pretty quick. So after that kind of slow first 50 metres, Hannah's definitely stamped her foot down and decided this is going to be a nice quick race. So 3:20, if we played that out, that would give us 16:40, and that would give all the ladies in the field who have a 5,000 metre PB at least a minute improvement. I'm not sure if Hannah and Isabella have raced the 5,000 on the track. They've come up from the junior ranks and typically do the 3,000 at that age group. But yeah, 3:20 per K, that's nice and quick. Good on Hannah for laying it down from the front.
So we'll see how this race plays out, but as we can see, it's already a completely different field what we saw in that 5,000 metres for the under-20 men, where Will Anthony just disappeared off into the distance and won by a massive margin. Yeah, just looking very comfortable. We just cock slightly to the side and say, Hayden Shearman.
It helps with the left turns. Just turning the head to slightly to the left.
In terms, because I know there are some coaches who will be like, oh, the head slightly that way there. You want to keep it upright and that sort of thing. As a coach, as we see Trent Hogg step into the discus circle, as a coach, how much do you need to be understanding? Is it something I really need to go to that kind of detail on? Is it something that it's just clearly natural for the runner and you need to let them go? Because there's a lot of talk about the technical aspects of running. At what point as a coach, which you are, do you have to just allow the runner to be a little bit of themselves and not try and mechanicalize them too much, if that's actually a word?
There's probably two schools of thought. There's the one, the purest distance runner that just get out, run miles, and the technique will take care of itself. And then there's the other, probably a bit more of the modern school of thought, that spends a lot of time, particularly in the junior ranks, learning to move well. And so that's why you'll typically see a distance runner focus on the 8 and 15 till in their late teens, and then start to move up, because it's in those faster distances that you develop that good technique under the pressure, and you can really hone that technique and then later add that cardiovascular. So that's probably the modern take of young athletes' development. But certainly with me, when I'm running and with the athletes that I'm running with, you've got to focus on processes, and part of those processes are, what's my body doing? What's the most efficient position I can get my body into? How can I stay relaxed? So for Hannah, that might be, just relaxing the head a bit, not to get too robotic. For other people, it's, feeling that string through the center of your spine, pulling your head nice and high, relaxing the shoulders back and down, all those sorts of cues that different people will use. So different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
But certainly learning to move well when you're young is very important to open the ceiling of your potential.
Well, all four of these athletes are moving very, very nicely. We saw a nice throw as well by Joshua Bull in the final of the under-20s men's discus, and Joshua having won the pole vault for the under-20s earlier on in the morning.
So Hannah's early pace of 3:20 per K continues. There was a 3:22 per K, so just a slight easing up. And do we see there a slight gap back to Isabella? Maybe not. But the pack certainly together, and Hannah doing a little, well, maybe that is a little bit of the bungee cord just stretching out a little bit.
Just a small one. Just a small one.
So we'll see if the Brown sisters stay on Isabella, or if one of them just makes their way around to keep tabs with Hannah and not let her get too far ahead. But as I said, this pace is hot. This will be going into uncharted territory. We were talking going through in the 3K in under 10 minutes. And for these ladies, that's close to their best for the 3K, let alone for the 5K. And a definite gap opening up there. You can see it well with that angle. Hannah getting a little grimace on her face, as you would expect, 2.5K deep into the 5K. And the Brown sisters going around Isabella, but Isabella doing well to stay with them as we head back to the discus.
Yeah, this is Blessing Siffort. Stands and rips it.
Stand and deliver.
He has absolutely done it. Joshua Bull, by the way, with a throw of 38.55. White flag up, legal throw. Blessing. Here we have a look, just stands, wham. Good arm speed. Rips that through. And we look forward to getting a measurement of that coming through very shortly. As we go back, and this is a good break that Hannah Gapes has got at the moment. No real panic coming from the Brown sisters, although they have moved past Isabella Richardson.
Yeah, and it's important for these three athletes to make sure they run their own race. You know, in the distance races, we saw it in the last one. You can get pulled into this uncharted territory and never recover from that early fatigue. So if Hannah's in the shape of her life, it's best just to let her go with it and make sure that you run your own race. Hannah's still pulling away. Look at this.
Good throw by Blessing Siffort, gets himself underway.
So really the important kilometre for Hannah, the make or break, is going to be this 4th kilometre, which she's going to start in about 200 metres. And so if she can stay on it with that, you can always close with a decent 1K. But that 2K out, that's where you go to some dark places in this 12.5 lapper.
So Max Abbott, you just saw out of Wellington, as we see Hannah Gapes come around the top bend into the home straight. She has got 5 more circuits to go. And now we see the Brown sisters just increasing ever so slightly their tempo. They've dropped Isabella Richardson. So you see Gapes going across the start-finish line now. And then we just cut back. And so there's a gap probably of around 20, 25 metres back to the Brown sisters of Chloe and Bella. And then probably equidistant back to Isabella Richardson of Auckland. Just the 4 athletes in this final of the under 20 women's 5,000 metres.
So you can see the strain there on Hannah's face. She's hurting, but you should be hurting at this stage in the race. You've got 1,800 metres left to run. This is, as I said before, this is the tough zone. And she needs to keep an eye out for those sisters behind her who are just running together wonderfully. Isabella into her 4th kilometre as well, running well, but just losing contact with the sisters.
Yeah, she's extended that advantage as she comes down the home straight one more time. So they've still got 4 more circuits to go. Seems to have a nice rhythm going at the moment. And so she comes across the line now.
And I think rhythm is the good word to use at this stage in the 12.5 lap race. You just clocking off one lap after another. You find your rhythm. But the danger with that is you can also, when you're by yourself, you can fall asleep a little bit. And she needs to be wary of that. Hold on to this lead that she's got and don't allow the sisters behind her to use the relative freshness in their legs to kick home. But at the moment, Hannah looking good. You can see there she's got the back straight all to herself right now, and there Chloe and Bella come around the corner. So what's that, 70 metres?
It was 12 seconds the advantage going over the start-finish line the last time around. That's Max Abbott's throw of 42.85 in the under-20 discus.
Yeah, so I think in that discus competition, Max certainly one of the boys to beat, the reigning New Zealand secondary schools champion.
Here's Quinn Motley out of Canterbury. So blessing Sefo so far with a 41.36. Here is Quinn's first throw. They'll be in and around that sort of 38 metre mark as well from Quinn. Our last athlete will be Caterman Hawkins.
And that could be a personal best for Quinn as well. Looking at his personal best, which is 35.71.
So this is a nice wee break that Hannah Gapes has got at the moment. It's not Will Anthony big, but it's still pretty impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, I would take this sort of lead at this stage in the race. We're going to come up to 4K, I believe, at this 200 metre mark here. So this will be 1K to go. This is an impressive run here from Hannah as she goes through in 13.28. That's going to set her up to run a pretty fantastic time. She could dip under 17 minutes, which would be a great run for her. I didn't even have a personal best time for her for the 5K, so this could potentially be her debut for the distance. I'll do a bit of research on that one.
So Hayden Sherman, the professor, gets to his work as Hannah Gapes comes around that top bend and into the home straight. Just waiting for the mark to come up for Quinn Motley. They're just checking the measurement. As Gapes comes down. 2 more laps to go, 800 metres of this 5,000 metre event. It's the under-20 women here at the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championship 2021 at the Hawke's Bay Regional Sports Park. So glad you're with us here on Sky Sport Next. My name's Nigel Yolden, Hayden Sherman providing the expert analysis, the team from the Stream Shop providing the great pictures, direction and production for you today. You can tell this is starting to hurt a little bit, but she knows she's got, even though it looks as though she is in pain, she's still moving really nicely. The cadence to this untrained eye, unlike yourself, Hayden, still looks very similar.
Yeah, often the giveaway is the heel recovery. So the height of those heels are coming up as they come through the recovery phase of the stride. And so you can see that they're getting laboured, but she's gritting her teeth. She's a tough competitor, and look, I don't think she would let this lead slip by. She's looking like she's come here to run a gutsy run, and that's exactly what she's doing. So I've just also found out her personal best is 17.18. That was set at the Night of Fives back in December. So she's obviously of the pedigree to
15 and a half with a lap to go.
She could go well under this. So we're looking at sort of a 16.45 scenario here, which is a great time. That's a brilliant time for a junior 5,000 metre race.
Hannah Gapes with the advantage. She goes round and she's into the back straight, just as Chloe Brown, who's now got a little bit of space on Sister Bella, just goes over the start-finish line.
About 15 metres, I'd call that. So I'd say Chloe's cementing her place with that silver medal. But Hannah, here she is, right from the gun. She took the lead, and she's just pulled this pack of 4 apart, and she's had it all to herself in the last few kilometres. And here she goes, just 150 metres left to run to claim a under-20s 5,000 metre title.
It looks like she's going to be well under that 17-minute mark that you were alluding to, Hayden Sherman. Really a delightful run. We've seen 2 dominant performances. First by Will Anthony of Wellington, here now by Hannah Gapes of Waikato Bay of Plenty. This has been a lovely, 2 beautiful displays of middle distance running.
And she's kicking away as well, so she's still got energy, and what a time.
16.48. We'll get the official details with it, but unofficially stopping the clock at just a hair over 16 minutes and 48 seconds for 5K. Coming down the home straight now is Chloe Brown. She has kicked clear of Sister Bella. She will take the silver medal.
Yeah, this will be another big personal best for Chloe as well. It's 17:11, I make it, very unofficially. And it looks like Bella's going to come through in a time of about 17:23. There we go. So there's your medals. And Isabella Richardson also looking good as well, looking to run maybe a tick under 18 minutes. As the girls embrace there, and it's warming up here, so that they will be very toasty. So
16 minutes, 47.56 seconds, Hayden Sherman.
Yeah, very, very impressive.
For Chloe Brown, 17 minutes, 13.39 seconds, and for Bella Brown, it's a 17 minutes, 23.03 seconds as Isabella Richardson comes down. Still plenty of bounce in that particular stride as well, and she has just run her own race really nicely, and she's going to stop the clock just around that 18-minute mark, maybe a hair over.
Yeah, just a tick over 18 minutes, and she, a little shake of her head. She has been struggling a little bit the last couple of years, but she's slowly coming back to fitness. She was a leading under 16 athlete, and now just sort of stepping up into the senior high school ranks, and just finding her feet. But she should still be very proud of that run. That's a fantastic run after trying to keep tabs with Hannah early on. So a update on the under 20 discus. There you can see Max Abbott just with the lead ahead of Blessing Sefor. We saw him do the stand and deliver technique. Incredible to get the discus out to 41 metres without the rotation.
Yeah, so that there, we've seen a first round throw as well in the senior para discus throw. That man on your screen right now is Nico Pepe of Tasman. He's currently in second spot behind Daniel Meyer of Northland. Daniel with a throw of 29.18 metres, and Nico, his first attempt, 24.31. Set a national record in the javelin earlier today. So nice technique and whips that one through. That one there is going to be a definite improvement, close to the 30-metre mark, so he should advance from his opening throw of 24.31. So here's the presentation of the under-20 women's high jump. It is Alice Taylor winning the silver medal, and the gold medal will go to her sister. It's Josie Taylor. So both of them clearing 173. Josie on count back. Maddie Wilson of Canterbury there, 277 with the bronze medal.
And I'm sure we'll see all those three women back for the senior women's high jump tomorrow. I'm just going to get confirmation on that as I look through the start list for tomorrow. Yes, we will have all three of them back. 2:45 tomorrow if you want to keep track of the high jump. And, of course, a lot more to come still in the high jump with Hamish Kerr lining up this afternoon. What can he do in some warm Hawke's Bay sunshine?
Well, for those maybe just joining the coverage, Hamish Kerr has just been in outstanding form. He's New Zealand record holder on his own now, height of 231 cleared, and he's been in and around that mark with great consistency. If he could go 2 centimetres higher, not only would it obviously add 2 centimetres to his national record and his personal best, that would be an automatic qualifier for the Olympic Games in Tokyo. And how nice would that be to see the black singlet in and amongst it at the Olympic Games? Very talented. As I say, just developing nicely, 24 years of age. And you know, I guess when you're talking high jump in terms of peak high jumping, when jumpers hit their prime, I guess it's late 20s in and around there. So there's still a bit more from this young man, but he will be one of the star attractions in the afternoon session here at the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2021. Here we see Joshua Bull. Josh back in the circle as we look for another round of throws from the under-20s.
Yeah, just looking at Hamish Kerr's current ranking in World Athletics is 16th, but we might need to take out some of the other countries if they've got more than 3. No, so he's sitting in the top 16 in the world currently. So you would assume, even if he doesn't get that 233, that you'd think he would go through. But yeah, as I say, it's a few different hoops to jump through if you don't hit that distance or that height, sorry.
And for those maybe not familiar, because there have been some changes. It used to be you have your A's and your B standards and that sort of things, but things have changed now. And yes, there is still a qualifying mark. If you hit that mark, which is what the likes of Dame Valerie Adams, Tom Walsh, Jack O'Gill, they have done in their particular field. They hit a certain mark, they're done. They're dusted, they're going.
Yeah.
Book the ticket, grab the accommodation. In the case of someone like Hamish Kerr, if he can get that automatic qualification, awesome. If he can't, then it is relying on these ranking points that we've been alluding to all throughout the track and field summer, be it at Potts, be it at the Capital Classic, be it at the Sir Graham Douglas, be it at the Pirate Classic. All of those carry certain ranking points. This one here obviously has got a high level of ranking points because the most ranking points you can get come from a national championship. So if he doesn't, he needs to be inside that upper echelon in terms of his points, his rankings. As Hayden alludes to, Hamish should be going to the Olympic Games based on what he is currently doing. However, stranger things have happened at the moment, but he really is just in a good spot. As we just saw a very good throw. I'm trying to see who that was. I think that might have been Blessing Siffel getting out over 42 and getting close to Max Abbott, as we're not far away from a race in the women's para 100 metres. Just 2 athletes in there. It'll be Daniel Aitchison of Waikato Bay Plenty and Anna Stephen of Auckland. As here we see Max Abbott get that one out. He'll be a lot more pleased with that one. His first throw was 42.85. Blessing Sefo with 42.74, but it looks like he's probably tacked on maybe another metre or so here. Looks back. Really specifying whether he's chuffed or not with that one. Just wait for that board to get turned around and see what the throw is. 45 we are hearing, 45.2, 45.2. And there is confirmation of it. Second round throw from Max Abbott. So he extends his advantage, which goes from 11 centimetres, and he's now pushed that out to just under 3 metres. Quinn Motley a little bit too quick into the throwing circle. So now he works his way back in. Here is one or two Cantabrians. Joshua Bull, the other. Quinn currently in third spot at the moment. His first round throw was 39.82.
Next on the track we have the
flat. That one there looks as though that's over 40.
Para Senior Woman.
Yeah, well over 40 for Quinn.
And Stephen from Auckland.
So we've now got the para athletes that are about to get onto the track, and for that there we will give Hayden Sherman a little bit of a break. Let him just take in all that wonderful 5,000 metre action that he was calling. We bring in a man who knows intimately the ins and outs of the para-athletic, well, track and field in general, but obviously does a lot of work with regards to para-athletes. Hamish Meacham from Athletics New Zealand, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, as we get an opportunity, we'll see Anna Stephen and Daniel Atchison get themselves ready. We've already seen some very good performances from the para-athletes. Yeah. You told us earlier to look out for this Nico Pepe when we were talking off here prior to starting. Gee, didn't he deliver?
Yep, and a little wobbly at the start there. Nigel, thanks for having me in. We've got a fabulous start to the track action for the para athletes today, but you're dead right. That long jumping was pretty fantastic. So in the blue, Anna Stephen out of Athletics Auckland, the standing start, a T64 athlete. And then in the Waikato colours, that's Danielle Aitchison, multiple Para World Championship medalist. These two have been battling it out all season, different classifications, but they are very close, especially over 200, which they'll race later today. Anna Stephen closing the gap, though, Nigel.
Oh, goodness gracious. Just it was Aitchison on the inside.
Yeah, that's fantastic to see that competition. So what you see with the T64, the amputee athletes, a little slower to get away. The acceleration isn't as great because you're missing the leg, but once she's up to top speed, really close.
Very close indeed. It'll be interesting to see what times come through. And I see that's the reason, I suppose, when we see them over the 200, I guess it just gives Anna that little extra time to get things up and winding.
Yeah, well, I think they're 2-2 so far this season over 200. So Anna's 1-2 and Danielle's 1-2, but you know, that bodes very well for the 200 later today. And we see Danielle with a time of 13.76 and Anna Stephen with 13.83, which is a big PB for Anna Stephen.
We've got the 100 metres coming up. It's just a few straight away. As soon as we see PBs, the phones come out, just checking, making sure everything's all hunky-dory. And as I say, we do appreciate Hamish, who is doing a bit of coaching as well, popping up and joining us throughout the course of the events today. We go back to Daniel Mayer out of Northland. First throw of 24.31.
Yeah, fantastic young athlete. Very well coached by John Eden.
As we see the medal ceremony for the under-20 men's pole vault. And it means there'll be just maybe a short break because one of the competitors in the discus is about to receive a gold medal for his efforts. He is the New Zealand champion. There is Joshua Bull out of Canterbury. And gets the gold medal. Has a wee look at that, and then we'll have to get the mind back on the discus job. There are your medalists in that under-20 pole vault. Again, wonderful talent coming through the ranks. Just confirming as well that the lead currently at the moment in the under-20 men's discus is Max Abbott. So here is Nico Pepe of Tasman. What do you like about this young man as an athlete, Hamish?
Can I say it? Raw talents.
The eyes have just lit up of Coach Hamish here.
We noticed Nico at the Halberg Junior Games a couple of years ago. In his native Tasman region, he's a representative softballer and a representative touch player that's able-bodied, and he'd never really done para-athletics, and he came down and absolutely dominated those Halberg Junior Games, and the talent was so evident across the jumping, the sprinting, and the throwing, so we're really lucky to link him up with a good coach down in his hometown of Marlborough, and he's really gone from strength to strength over the past year and a half. He's been invited, there he is in the left of the picture there, he's been invited into our performance development squad. He's an athlete we're quite excited about for the future.
You can understand why as well. So Nico just waiting for the measurement on his third throw, and it is his best, 29.41. Daniel Mayer, though, of Northland with a 32.28. It has been listed for that third throw. You are 29.41 confirmation for Nico Pepe. Just Nico and Daniel in the Para Senior final. Sadly, Ben Tamaseve of Auckland not being able to compete this weekend. There you see Trent Hogg representing Southland. So as we head into the third round of throws for the under-20 men, it's Max Abbott of Wellington leading the competition with 45.2 metres. Then we go back to Blessing Siffel of Auckland, 42.74. Quinn Motley, just 4 centimetres behind Blessing with 42.7. Here we go. There's the graphic on screen for you.
Yeah, very good stuff.
So just the two foul throws as well. One from Trent, one from Josh. Say some talent there with Joshua Ball. Not bad on a pole vault. Quite happy to go in there for the discus. I suspect when you're down in Canterbury, though, and you've got someone like Terry Lomax bombing around, you're encouraged to be multi-dimensional, it's fair to say.
And here we go, some para discus results. So Daniel Meyer leading Nikau Pepe so far. Of course, that's just on distance as we see Trent Hogg from Southland in the circle. Trent Hogg is exactly what I imagine a Southlander to look like. And he's got that discus out a fair way. That looks to be peppering around that 40-metre mark. Best of over 42 so far today. He's just
checking there. The hat came off. His cap came off actually right at the end. I think he was just checking to make sure that either that's still legal or checking what the guts was there. He was very smart to just stand and wait and check with the wonderful rules officials who were sitting there around the ring.
I was gonna mention the hat. It's not that common that you'll see a field event athlete with a hat on, but he's got a big old mopper here, Trent Hogg.
Well, we saw that earlier as well with Amelia Delatour, the Auckland under-20 high jumper. She was jumping with I don't know what the proper term is, but that peak cap, just not the full cap, but just the one that sort of wraps around, ties at the back there. I'm not sure. I think it's called a peak. That's what I remember it.
Oh, you're trendier than me, Nigel, if you know that sort of thing.
Well, no, that's what we used to call it when I was playing golf when I was about 18. I can tell you that's a fair few haircuts ago, just quietly.
Yeah, look, confirmation. Anna Stevens ran a huge PB there, about... What is that? So her best was 14.5, and she's improved all the way down to 13.83. So very pleased coach here in the commentary box as we get ready for some ongoing action in the discus. And then we've got the Para 100-metre wheelchair event, which is a mixed gender event.
We're just working through, and we'll get you that start list there for that particular event. There you see,
waiting patiently to see what the measurement of that.
Yeah, that's Catamon Hawkins. He's thrown consistently, 37.8 followed by 37.7. So there we are. Gabrielle Wright, Sarah James and Montana Brown will be the three athletes in the 100 metres final for the wheelchair women. There they are, backing themselves into position.
Yeah, and alongside them, Jaden Mulvold, who's to the left of the screen there. He's the male competitor in this event. And, you know, it's fantastic to see. There was quite a few years where we didn't have wheelchair competitors in the track racing events at our national championships. After having been very strong through the 80s and 90s and early part of this century, we've had a few years where we didn't have anyone competing nationally or internationally. So these young athletes coming through, we're very excited about them, and this young man is included in that group, Jaden Mulvold. Huge personality, Jaden Mulvold. Loves a chat, so you see him there having a chat to one of the officials.
Do we have another Liam Malone on our hands, do we?
We actually do. He's actually quite a talented natural speaker. He's a leader at his school at Rangitoto College. No stranger to public speaking. So one to watch out for in years to come, because he's made a big jump forward this season. So, takes time to develop the strength and especially the technique for this wheelchair racing. And we're going to see that here. And again, mixed classification, but should be some good racing.
So as we wait for these three female athletes, and then Jaden just going through there.
Well, and what's interesting about this is over the 100 and 200, it's the only events where able-bodied athletes are faster than wheelchair athletes. Once you get over, 400 also, but then once you get to 800, the middle and long distances, the times these wheelchair races lay down are quite mind-boggling. We're talking athletes who push a marathon in just over an hour rather than 2 hours that it takes the able-bodied athletes.
Well, I mean, when you think about these sort of athletes, I guess a name that would spring to mind might be familiar people from the world stage, a guy like a Kurt Fearnley.
Yes.
And what amazing things he did in his wheelchair for Australia at Paralympics and Para World Championships. He did the Komodo Trail.
Oh, yes.
He did that Komodo Trail. By the way, and he did that without the wheelchair.
Yep.
He just did that. Just an extraordinary human being. I think he's written a book and just remarkable. But to do that particular trail, sans a wheelchair, shows the immense strength that he had built up over the course of his athletics career and how it translates. And so just confirming, it's Wright, James and Brown in 3, 4 and 5, and it's Mulvold in lane number 6 there.
Yep. And is this Blessing Sepho
Yes,
stepping
it
into
is.
the cage? Only down by, I believe, about 10 centimetres in this men's junior discus competition so far.
He's down. He's, Abbott just increased it, lead out to just under 3.
And you see there, he's a standing throw.
Whee!
Whoa, he's got that well out there from a standing throw without doing a full turn. That is very impressive and displaying a lot of strength. Blessing Sepho, better known potentially as a shot putter, but great to see him having a good crack at the discus here.
Well, to do that, as you say, without the momentum that is generated by the spin across the circle, that's some serious power, some serious upper body strength that Blessing Sepho has.
Yep, correct. And we'll just note here the 3 female athletes are, interestingly, in 3 different classifications. So
there you go, 43.16. So still just on 2 metres behind our competition leader, which is Max Abbott. But Blessing Sepho there, as we say, standing and delivering. And here is our competition leader, Max Abbott. Wonder how he responds having seen Blessing lay down that number. So not too far away, just holding a start at the moment as we see Abbott get that through. Oi!
Good response from Abbott.
Wow! That is just under 50 metres.
And a classic thrower's face there. Doesn't look particularly happy with it, but it is, does look pretty good. We'll wait and see what the distance is.
And there is his first 2 throws were, in terms of trajectory, were quite flat. That one there just seemed to have a little bit more elevation, and he's got the reward in terms of the distance, I suspect. That's going to be near 47, maybe 48 possibly. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, and we're underway in the mixed wheelchair 100 metres. 47.79 for Abbott. That's fantastic throwing. Jaden Mulvold showing out. Gabby Wright leading the female race. Young Jaden Mulvold looking very strong, getting up to speed now. Very impressive speed, Jaden Mulvold over 100 metres. Gabby Wright winning the ladies' race ahead of Sarah James and Montana Brown.
Now, just to clarify as well, because is it the same rulings with regards to the wheelchair athletes as it is to able-bodied? Do they have to stay in their lane? If they drift across, is there an issue that they could find themselves running afoul of the officialdom?
Yeah, absolutely. Over 200 and 400 metres, that is the case. Interestingly, over 100 metres, it's not necessarily illegal to go out of your lane as long as you're not impeding another competitor. So, and you will notice that, these chairs are very finicky. It can be hard to actually keep them going in a straight line. So it's not uncommon to see a little bit of wobble, but it's just in the 200, 400, they need to make sure not to step inside the line.
So there we go. That was another good throw there. So you're getting about their work quite nicely. So Max Abbott, though, has extended his lead, 47.79 that third throw. Blessing Sepho currently in second spot with a throw of 43.16, so 43 metres, 16 centimetres. Then we go back to Quinn Motley, his second round throw, 42.7.
And is this Hawkins?
Yes, it is.
From Wellington.
Catamount Hawkins.
Can he get out over 40 metres? And the answer to that appears to be yes.
Oh, yes, definitely a yes. It was low.
Oh,
foul throw, though.
Red flag, unlucky.
So Catamount walks out a little bit frustrated. Here we are. This is the medal ceremony for the under-20 men's 5,000 metres. And Will Anthony, the man in the middle, just absolutely dominated. That's Max Janzik of Canterbury. Cameron Clark. Had a nice run, but they were all battling for second spot because Will Anthony set a tempo and just really delivered a beautiful, beautiful run. Still looked very fresh. He looked like that as he came over the start-finish line at the end of the 5,000 metres. Dominant performance by Will Anthony and a deserved national champion over 5,000 metres for the under-20 men. As we go back now to another one of our para-athletes. And so Nikau is competing in two different events at the same time. There's Nikau Pepe along with Joe Smith and Zachary Orbel.
Saves a bit of time with warm-ups and warm-downs because he's simply gone from the long jump to the discus and now to the 100-metre starts, where Nikau Pepe is going to be racing a T37 athlete, Joe Smith, and a T35 athlete, Zachary Orbel. So Joe Smith in his first season as a para-athlete, and those classifications, generally the 30s, 35, 36, 37, 38, that relates to usually a neurological disorder, often cerebral palsy, which is certainly the case with Joe and Zachary. And very generally speaking, as you go up the scale, you're less affected. So a T37, Joe's less affected than young Zachary here, who's a T35. And of course, goes without saying, the actual results will be judged on percentage of world records. So it's a great way to have a little bit of competition within the competition.
You mentioned that this is Joe's first full season. Again, the same way you spoke about Pepe earlier on. I mean, what is it that you like about Joe as an athlete that brought him into the sport? So
Joe's come to the sport pretty late. He was introduced to me via Parafed Auckland. Cycling was and is a little interested in him. He's been playing senior level football, so second division in the Northern League, so not bad level senior football. He is disabled, so he's got neurological impairment, so one side doesn't function as well as the other, decreased strength and coordination, but he was playing football at that level, kind of, wanting to just live his life and not focus on his disability. But then, ticking away in the back of the mind, I wonder if I could be good at this, and it turns out he's really good. He's got some significant talents. He's run low 12s for 100, speaking of significant talent. Here's Daniel Meyer in the Para Men's Discus out of Northland.
He's got the advantage at the moment. This will be his fourth throw, and he may have to wait because Nikau Pepe, his opposition, is at the other end of the track at the moment, getting ready for a 100 metres. And there, he looks like it could be around that 30-metre mark, somewhere in that time, in that zone. He's had a throw of 32.28, which currently leads the competition. So there are our athletes: Smith on the right of your stream, then Pepe and Orbel on the left.
Yeah, Orbel, a very young athlete, coached by Steve O'Kane out of the North Harbour Bays Club. Huge mop of hair. Might have to have a word to his parents at some stage about getting the scissors out, taking that down a bit.
It's just hair.
It's
just hair.
I mean, surely you go for a hair tie, put it in a man bun or something like that. It's going to get in his eyes, Nigel, surely.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see.
Let the young athletes express themselves.
Yeah. And so outside of the percentage stuff, we do expect a very close race. The PBs of Nikau Pepe and Joe Smith are quite similar. Expecting an exciting race out of these two when they do get going. And this is Hawkins.
Yeah, confirm that fourth round throw for Daniel Meyer was a 31-metre, 51-centimetre effort. So still not as good as his third throw, which was 32.28 metres. And Catamount Hawkins been really consistent. Did have the one foul throw, but he's thrown 37.81, 37.73, and then 37.87. So we head back to the 100-metre mark. So Smith on the right, Pepe in the middle, Orbel on the left, just pushing back that mop of hair that James Meacham has just pointed out. 40.41 there for...
Nice.
Next throw. Oh, sorry, excuse me. That was... it was Catamount Hawkins. Excuse me, I was looking at the wrong column. My apologies for that. So that's a good improvement for him. That pushes him up to fourth place at the moment in the under-20 discus final. Here is Joshua Bull. His best throw was 38.55, had 2 foul throws.
What? Clips the cage a little bit there. He'll get the red flag, unfortunately, Joshua Bull.
Second throw in a row where he's clipped it on that right-hand side as it exits the cage. So a little bit of frustration there for Joshua.
Yeah, and frustration for Nikau Pepe. Probably wants to get this 100 metres over and done with and back to the discus competition. They do appear to be wandering over to the start now, though.
Based on what you're saying, he's probably going to barrel over the start line, take a hard right foot step and cut his way over there. So here we are. So Smith, Pepe, Orbill. This is a 100 metres Para Senior.
Almost ready for a start. Para M 100
So you see, all set, taking the standing as opposed to using the blocks. All is in readiness.
The start will be all important here.
And they're away. Oh, that's a nice even start by both Smith and Pepe. This is a great race. Pepe with the advantage. Smith trying to come back. Oh, my goodness.
That is fantastically close running. Nikau Pepe takes the win. He's having a busy morning, so full credit to Nikau Pepe from Tasman. Held his form very, very well. Joe Smith just coming back very close. 12.10 for Pepe. Smith will be very close to that.
I was going to say, it would be 300ths of a second, something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 12.13 new PB for Joe Smith and 15.01 Zachary Orbell. Very good running for a T35. Fantastic.
You should see the smile on the coach's face next to me. That's what they want to see. And now literally he will just have a quick rest and then he'll scoot over and continue in this competition we're watching on screen at the moment. Well, Nikau Pepe, but gee, both out of the blocks really well. It looked as though Nikau was just getting a little bit on him, but that must be something as a coach you like to see from Joe. He never gave up and just sort of came back late at him.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He trains alongside Mitch Joint, who we're going to see later on in the 200 metres, who's been to World Championships. Early on, he was training with Keegan Pitcher. So he's been around those guys, and from day one, he's kind of, well, I've had to hold him back essentially because he really loves mixing it up with those guys. Trains alongside some able-bodied athletes. He's actually the fastest starter in the group, over 10 metres. So really loves mixing it up, a really competitive guy, and I'm excited about him. So a name to watch in the para ranks in the future.
Interesting to note with those times as well, though, the wind speed is up to plus 2.8 metres per second. Now, that is really nice for a sprinter. However, there are a couple of other athletes coming up a little bit later in the day. We'd love it just to drop ever so slightly. So if they can do to their potential, and I am, Hamish, obviously alluding to Zoe Hobbs here, who ran an 11.44 and looked to be easing down in qualifying for the women's 100 metres. We'd want it just to drop down a touch, to the under the legal limit.
Yeah, we want just a nice steady 1.9. We don't ask for much, do we, Nigel? Yeah, look, and Hawke's Bay's turned it on with the weather, the sunshine. The athletes love the sunshine. They love a bit of heat in the track. And so all of that is here. The wind is about right. We just need it to not pick up anymore and die down, but not too much. So yeah, we don't ask for much in track and field athletics as we see the field for the senior men's long jump.
Yes,
very exciting mix of multi-eventers, some veteran long jumpers.
Yep.
A few exciting up-and-comers as well.
Yeah, Matthew White in there, Max Atwell, Jack Bryan, Felix McDonald, Shay Veach, who I think Hayden Shearman thinks could be an interesting wee chance in the 100 metres men's final, given how open that particular field is, given all of the unfortunate absentees that we've got.
I very much agree with that, but because I'm just the fill-in commentator popping in occasionally, I'm going to call a favourite in this one. My favourite is that man there in the black wandering just out of screen, Matthew Wyatt, very experienced jumper. I think he might be ticking over into his 30s, so he's been here, he's done this, he's competed internationally. Still very involved in the sport, well coached by Elena Brown, and he's a wily competitor. You know, he's going to be able to read this wins better than his younger, less experienced athletes. He's going to be able to handle the pressure of this competition better. So my man to watch, Matthew Wyatt in the long jump. I'm going to call it now.
Righty-ho, well, we will put that down. There's the prediction having been made. Just waiting for the mark to come through for Max Abbott. Here is confirmation of that long jump senior men's, brought to you by TSB. Max Atwell, Felix McDonald, Jack Bryan, Matthew Wyatt.
Max Atwell, a very well-performed decathlete. And those two athletes, here he is, in fact, national decathlon champion Atwell. Great acceleration, very elastic off the board, nice flight.
And the thing, of course, to remember for those maybe not familiar with it, the fact is that there is not a decathlon that runs at this particular event. That is always run separately, the New Zealand Combined Sports Championship. So you will see a lot of multi-sporters bouncing around, doing different events over the course of the next couple of days, just making sure they get their reps in as well.
It's fantastic. We have a long history of that with athletes like Joanne Henry, Doug Perini, Simon Pullman. They would come to these championships, be world-class multi-eventers, but win medals across multiple events here. And it was always exciting to watch and see how many events they could fit into their schedule.
Max Atwell with 6 metre, 64 centimetre jump. That gentleman there with the outstanding hair moustache combination was wearing the aviators as well in the introductions. This is Felix McDonald out of Otago. And so he is on the runway as we allow Hamish to step aside, grab a coffee, go down, maybe have a chat with a couple of his charges, and Hamish Meacham will be back a little bit later on in the afternoon to do some more commentary when we send Hayden Shearman down to do some post-race interviewing for us here on Sky Sport Next. So glad that you are with us. This is the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships 2021. It's day one. And watching a combination of the under 20 and senior para discus, and now the senior men's long jump final, which has got underway. So I can tell you as well that Max Abbott delivered a fourth throw of 46 metres 56. So not as good as his third round throw of 47.79, but really consistent from Max Abbott as we see our fifth set of throws about to get underway, and it is Catamon Hawkins of Wellington. Now head back to the long jump, and that is Jack Bryan of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. Back to Catamon Hawkins. Best throw was his fourth round throw, 40.41. And that one there will be in and around that mark as well. Maybe even a slight improvement for the big Wellingtonian. Working through, always talking to themselves as we cut across and we see that mark as we wait for it to come up. Great work being done as always by our volunteers at these particular events.
Yeah, it's a small army of volunteers, and they come from all over the country, and they know their stuff as well. The marshals and the officials, they have to get qualified, so we get all the records and performances ratified.
Well, that's a best throw of the day as well for Catamon Hawkins, 42.61, and there, that just slots him up into the fourth spot, so just outside of the medals, as we see.
Yeah, Matthew Wyatt there in the long jump.
Well, that was the one that Hamish has already put down as the man he wants to keep an eye on. As I say, very experienced. There from, it was Joshua Bull. It's getting a little bit too much air and just walks out the front and red flags it. Here we see the veteran. Big, powerful strides, plants. A little bit back on the stop board, but he'll be, on the board, I should say. He'll be reasonably pleased with that as a first up effort as we wait confirmation of that particular jump by Matthew Wyatt. Yeah,
so Matthew was in third place at the Sir Graham Douglas 3 weeks ago with a best of 6.99. But yeah, he is a 7 metre plus jumper.
Yeah, well,
at his
opened up with 6.91 for his first throw. Here is Trent Hogg, who's decided he's going to get rid of the cap. There's a lovely thatch that he's got here is Shea Veach.
Yeah, and this is really the other man to watch. He's your national leader this season. Also doing the 100 metres.
Well, we did mention to Hamish Meacham as well that, you thought maybe Shea could be an interesting option in regards to that 100 metres.
Yeah, what did he think of that?
Well, straight away he actually went the other way and he just went straight to Matthew White for the long jump. So he sort of glazed over it a smidgen. But yeah, so it's interested to see how Shea goes. As you say, he's in outstanding form.
Yeah, 7.63 is best this year, and
7.78 is what he's just jumped.
That's a big personal best by 12 centimetres. So that's huge. What a way to open. They will have a tailwind, so that's an important thing to take into consideration as far as the distances go. But in terms of this competition, that puts him in a commanding position.
Well, that was something that we did note just before when we saw the 100 metre para athletes come down. Wind speed has got up. It was plus 2.8.
Right.
Now, of course, we're all thinking
we had negative winds, didn't we?
Yeah, precisely. So, I mean, if ideally, and Hamish mentioned this as well, we would like it around sort of that plus 1.8 or 1.9 because we don't want the possibility if there were to be a record. And we, yes, am I getting ahead of myself? Yep, probably are. But Zoe Hobbs was so impressive. Just 0.12 outside the record of Michelle Seymour in qualification and appeared to be easing down somewhat. So if she really put the hammer down.
And our finishing technology showed that as 11.14, and we were in sort of fits of excitement wondering if this was a New Zealand record. It turned out to be 11.44. Still a very good heat time, but not a new national record yet.
Now, interesting to note there, for the first time that we have seen, that was Blessing Siffel actually adding a spin to his throw. He had just been standing there and just throwing, around 42, 43, and he adds the spin. He's out to 45.53.
Impressive.
Just starting out in this particular event, Hamish saying more of a shot putter.
And so that's his best so far in the competition.
Yeah, so he's still just on 2 and a bit metres behind Max Abbott. So that was the first through. So Shea Veach, 7.78, leading after the first round of the men's long jump. The man on your screen is Felix McDonald. He had a foul jump, I should say, to begin. Here's his second.
So reigning New Zealand champ on screen, won first place at the Sir Graham Douglas 4 weeks ago now. And I'm going to put this out there. Best moustache in the stadium right now.
Oh, you're too late. When you're off there, we've already got that one.
All right, okay.
We were talking.
Beautiful.
You were talking Prefontaine-esque.
Yes.
That is right up there.
It is right up there. Well done, Felix. I love it.
Well, New Zealand has, it's fair to say, had a very, very good history with regards to moustaches in track and field. I think you think of the late, great Dick Quacks. Rod Dixon had a powerful tash for many a year there.
Starshies at Nashies.
Yeah, well, I think it would be great. I think maybe it's something we need to encourage Tom Walsh.
Yes.
Go the moustache. Go with a bit of volume. I mean, he's good with the facial hair and the beard and that sort of thing, but really sort of put a focal point on the top lip. As here's Abbott. Has he stayed in? White flag goes up. Max Abbott, who leads this competition, his third round throw of 47.79, the best so far. He's also had throws of 46 metres, 56, 45.2 and 42.85. Here we are in the 400 metres, first of the men's. Eddie, Prim, Wells, Botta and Middleton, your athletes competing at the moment. And on the outside, that is Troy Middleton with the hair flowing out the back. John Wells of Canterbury. He's starting to stride through. Karen Prim of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. That's on the inside, and then it's Matthew Eadie of Auckland on that inside lane. Looks as though it's Prim and Wells who are the athletes that are going to be leading them in. Karen Prim on the inside. Wells trying to stay with him. Another good throw from Abbott, 46.62, but it is Pim out of Hawke's Bay Gisborne leading them down in the 400 metres. This is going to be a nice win for one of the hometown athletes representing Hawke's Bay Gisborne. As we see Matthew Wyatt get about his work. And what would be his second jump in the long jump. So Felix McDonald, by the way, with a 7.38 effort for his second. So he's on the board, but at the moment chasing Shay Veach with 7.78 metres. And there is Shay. So,
yeah, Shay is a real talent, and we saw him last year cross the finish line of the 400 metres senior men's final on his shoulder, sliding across the finish line as he stumbled in to get his silver medal. The finish line shot was spectacular, but we can see him this year really focusing on the long jump and also the 100 metres. It will be, as I've said before, I'd love to see that double. Such a tricky one to do because he's going to have to line up in that 100-metre final in just over, an hour?
Well, you see great pace on the runway and hits the board nicely. White flag. So he opened up with 7 metres, 78 centimetres. This is the second heat of that 400. Have a look at that for a technique. Look at the power. You can see it through the shoulders as well. Where does he hit the board? Hits it really nice. Gee, that's another very good jump.
Very good. He's looking good. There's Shay Veach. He's definitely come here to play ball.
It's a real confidence.
And you can see there his coach just saying, get that leg down, get those hips working. Make sure you apply that force into the ground.
So 7.7, so he follows up 7.78 with a 7.7. So two very good jumps. Here is Josh Ball, and I think maybe a combination of winning a pole vault title, and he's just fouled another one into the side of the cage. And so he will have a best of 38.55. He will be sixth of our 6 throwers. So here is the field for the second heat of the 400. This is under 20 men. Archie Hargrave on the inside in lane number 3. Aidan Porritt, Manawatu Wanganui in lane number 4. Kio Malanga Pari of Auckland is in lane number 5. Flynn Marshall, Auckland lane 6. And Ethan Calder-Cass of Wellington in lane number 7.
Yeah, so eyes on Flynn Marshall for this one. He won that spectacular New Zealand secondary schools champs last year, coming from behind to claim that title. I think he went under 49 seconds for the first time, running 48.88.
So it's Calder-Cass that's gone out very hard in lane number 7. Inside is Hargreave, then Porritt, Malianga Pari in lane number 5, and then Flynn Marshall. So Ethan Calder-Cass of Wellington is going to lead them in, but it's going to be a reasonably evenish field to a degree. No, Calder-Cass has actually got a real march on them at the moment.
Yeah, bold move here from
He keeps looking over his shoulder, son. Just run, fella. Just run, and I'm concerned he's actually stepped out of the lane. Oh, that'll be one I think they'll have a look at. My concern there, he was looking over his shoulder. Hayden Sherman, I thought he stumbled into that other lane. I think we're going to get another look at it. There he goes as he kept the feet. Ooh.
I think he's safe. But, yeah, risky business when you've got a 10-metre lead on the pack. And I thought, look, he's gone out far too fast. He's got a personal best. I don't know if he's been under 50 seconds, has Ethan. So bold move to go out that hard from the start. But he held on. just almost ended up in the wrong lane, but he held on.
Right, so we head to the long jump. There is Jack Bryan, who's had jumps of 5.9 metres, followed by 6.19. Here comes Blessing Sefo. Now, he added the spin, and it looks like he's going to add a spin again. His first three throws were just all stand. Great power. Here he goes. Gets that little extra rotation. Wow! Oh, that could be one. That could be one for Max Abbott to be chasing.
This is impressive. What
That's
a way.
big. That's big. Last throw as well. His sixth throw. His best was 54.53 as we see Hannah Gapes, who put on a lovely display of running in the 5,000 metres to claim the under-20 title.
She's looking pretty fresh now, recovered well.
Flanked by the Brown sisters, who claimed silver and bronze. That's a throw.
Yeah, let's see what we get here, because that looked like it might have a 5 in front of it potentially. At least high 40s.
I think high 40s. 48.01. So he leapfrogs Max Abbott, who's now got one throw.
21
one throw
centimetre
left.
lead. Wow.
Actually, that was 48.8. Excuse us. So different to the measurement that's just popped up on our screen. So it is 48.01. Just getting confirmation of that. Max Abbott's got to deliver. What has he got?
Blessing Sefo has improved every single throw. He's gone out, but can Max respond? Let's wait and see. Out it goes.
Oh, he has, you know. He has. Yeah. You clench your finch, young man. That is a way to respond.
New Zealand Secondary Schools champ from back in December. He knows how to compete, and here he goes. Look at this. Winds up, releases, delivers. Praise to send it out to that 50-metre mark.
Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be really close. Let's wait and see. There's some nice round of applause coming in. 49.32.
What a competition. Wow, what a way to respond. So Blessing Sefo just kept on improving, kept on the heels of Max Abbott, and then Max responds right at the end.
Well, if
Beautiful.
you are just joining us to coverage of that, for the first three throws, Blessing Sefo just stood and threw, and he threw 41.36, 42.74, then 43.16. Then when they moved into the final three rounds, he added the spin to his throw, fouled off on his first, then threw 45.53, then 48.01. But Max Abbott, like all good athletes, when you need to do it, you deliver. 49.32. And gets the job done. So we see another leap there by Shay.
And we do need to give a big heads up on where we're heading, because we're shortly going to take a break. So straight after lunch, this is where you all need to be tuned in. We've got the 100-metre finals, and so be sure to not go too far away from your screens, ladies and gentlemen, because we will take a break shortly, but we're going to be back straight into those senior men, senior women, under-20s, 100-metre finals.
Just give you a quick update as well on where we're at the moment with the senior men's long jump final. So we have seen a great opening three jumps from Shay Veach. Came out with a 7.78 metre effort, followed it up with 7.7 and then 7.71. There you see the jumps through the first two rounds. We've seen Felix McDonald jump 7.38. He's followed that up, by the way, Felix, with a 7.25 metre effort. Matthew Wyatt has just jumped into the 7 metre realm as well, just a centimetre over, 7.01. And there you see the results of the men's under-20 discus. Big throw, responding to the challenge laid down by Blessing Sefo out of Auckland, did Max Abbott out of Wellington to get the win. A super effort. Blessing Sefo in second spot. And just trying to work our way back through. Who has actually claimed that third spot? I think it might actually, it is. It's Catamon Hawkins, I should say, of Wellington.
Yeah,
with his fifth throw.
Yeah, he really came from behind with that fifth throw. Impressive stuff. So Max Abbott walks away as the under-20 champion. He was the bronze medalist back in this time last year behind the man himself, Connor Bell, who's, of course, moved up to the senior division. and Liam Nachok-Wolf, who is, I assume, in the senior competition this year as well. But well done, Max, and great to see Blessing go so well.
Well, we're going to take a... Just going to keep going here for just one moment.
Yeah, we're going to catch the heats of the senior men's 400. Perfect, and then we'll take a break.
That'll be outstanding. So this opening heat, we have got Matthew Alty of Auckland, Hamish Gill out of Auckland. Then we go to Oliver Dunshay of Canterbury, Fergus McClay of Auckland, Bailey Cotton of Waikato Bay of Plenty, and John Herbert of Otago. So Alty in lane number 2. Gill 3, Dunshay 4, McClay 5, Cotton 6, and Herbert in lane number 7. The national record held by Sean Farrell, set on the 7th of March 1998.
Yeah, the real exciting talent is running in lane 3, Hamish Gill, who's stepped up from the focus on the 100 and the 200 previously to the 400, and I actually talked to him a few weeks ago, like, how are you enjoying this change? You're glad you did it? Because it's a big jump when you double those distances, and sprinters, they're not ones to really embrace the endurance. So it's cool to see him do this. We've always had, well, not always, traditionally 400 has been a weaker event in New Zealand. Just as a smaller country, you've got people focus on either the 1 or the 2 or focus on the middle distances, and we have this little gap with the 400. But I'm excited to see Hamish Gill give it a good nudge, because obviously he's got that speed, and when you can add that endurance to it, we should start to see him hopefully get under that 47 sort of second barrier, which he's constantly in the 47s at the moment.
Okay, well, let me throw this at you then, okay? At the moment, we've already talked about it. We've got a great young crop of young sprinters over the 100 and 200 metre distances. We've always had strength in the likes of the 800, 1500. Given what we are seeing with regards to that depth in the 1 and the 2, do you think that ultimately maybe in 4 or 5 years' time that there will be a benefit to that 400 metres, and maybe that bridge that you are, I guess, referring to in a way will be formed as we are underway in this particular race? We'll let you contemplate that one as we watch this 400
Absolutely
play out, and we see Hamish Gill in lane number 3 already starting to show out, having got past Oliver Dunshay, the first start of the stagger as they head down the back straight.
And as
beautiful
you'd expect
conditions
from a 100, 200 specialist, out nice and quick out of the blocks and looking nice and strong. John Gerber on the outside as well, who's another name to keep track of as we get into it. And so now they'll come around this bend and they'll feel that tailwind just on their shoulders blowing them home, and that'll be a welcome relief to have that. So let's see how Hamish's closing speed is over this last 100.
Just as we look over to his right, knows that he's got Herber beat at the moment. So Herber, though, not giving in. Great little battle, just has another wee peak, but Gill comes down. And so comfortable there for Hamish Gill. Top 3 from each heat, plus the best 2 non-automatic qualifiers will go through to the final. So that was Gill, Herbert, and Fergus McClay, I think, was the man that came through for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, so back to that question on, what effect does strength in the 1 and 2 mean for the 4? And you look at a country like Jamaica, obviously so strong in the 1 and 2, but you see that really feed beautifully into the 400, and even now also the 800 and the middle distance as well. They really do. The more numbers you've got, the more it feeds into those longer distances. And for someone like Hamish, I don't know this for a fact, but if I was him, looking at the likes of Eddie and Joseph Miller and Tian Welpton, who are all not here this weekend, so it sort of backfired this logic. But if you're looking at the field around you saying, well, actually, if I focus on the 4, I could have not only realistic chances of claiming national medals, but also potential, to make some national teams if I focus on the 400, take my speed and apply some speed endurance to it. So I'm really stoked to see him take this move, and yeah, very cool to see.
We'll just watch another set of our medal ceremonies as the next heat gets ready again. It'll be the top 3 from the heat plus the next 2 best times. As we see Anna Stephen, silver medalist in the 100 metres. Great race between her and Daniel Atchison, and it was a cracking PB as well by Anna. 13.83 and 13.76 for... There we go, world record. Did I just catch coming through the microphones there?
Oh no! So that was a. So
was it?
just saying a percentage of the world
percentage
record.
of the world
I
record.
missed
Sorry,
the
yes.
exact percentage.
Here we see Max Atwell.
Yeah, like a little stutter there just to get his run up right. So they'll have a little tailwind blowing along the runway there. That will assist them to get that speed. But it looks like Max maybe just was looking like he was about to overshoot the board.
Best jump so far was 6.8 metres, which was his third effort as we are into the final series of 3 jumps in that particular event.
Yeah,
So
Max was second at Sir Graham Douglas as well. So he knows a thing or two about the long jump. Of course, he's the national decathlon champ right now. Back in February, scoring 7,160 points ahead of Jared Neighbours and Ethan Phillips in third.
Bailey Stewart, Louis Andrews, Luke Mercier, Josh Ledger and Nick Ash, the 5 athletes in the second heat of the senior men's 400 metres.
So Luke Masika, the reigning New Zealand champion from last year in that dramatic 400.
Tell you what, Josh Ledger's gone out here like a staffy on possum duty. He is absolutely flowing the gates. Let's see if it all comes back. It is 400 metres coming around that top bend, and now we're starting to see Nick Ash on the inside starting to come a little bit more prominent. Sorry, Bailey Stewart, I should say. Here's Ledger. Now we're just starting to see the he knows what he's got to do, doesn't he, Luke? Eases in. Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the final. Not going to push it any harder than I have to.
Yeah, so after that really strong start by Josh Ledger, Luke Masika just doing what he needs to do to edge up, and there's your top 3 to go through.
So we head back over to the long jump. There is Felix McDonald. Great thatch of hair, quality tash, and delivering as well. Best jump so far, 7 metres, 38 centimetres. Long extension. Nice round of applause as well from the team, from the supporters that have settled in over on the bank.
It looked like he hit that pretty well, and he's having a good look at the... Does it get the white flag? I thought there was a white flag up.
Yeah, well, they're having a real close look at this now at the moment, aren't they? Oh, no, it was just the tape. That was all. So there was a white flag there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what
7.35 is what we're hearing. 7.35 metres.
So that still puts him in second place. He's got a 7.38. But that's still 40 centimetres behind Shea Veach with that mammoth opening jump of 7.78.
They are getting some really good wind assistance at the moment. It is blowing.
Papers start to blow around the desk a little bit more.
Yeah. So we'll just take this jump of Shea Veach, and then we will be taking a break here from our coverage of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. This is day 1. Another big,
nice
strong reach and extension. White flag has gone up.
No poker face. He gave that the clap, the double clap and the fist pump. Let's wait and see.
Well, he's already laid down 3 wonderful leaps of 7 metres 78, 770, 771. Tony Rogers on there. There's something. What's he seeing? What have we seen? 772, 7 metres 72. Shea Veach.
Consistent. He's only got a margin of error of 8 centimetres between his 4 jumps. So He's having a good day at the office, and I'm excited to see him in the 100 metres in just over an hour, and we'll be back at 1:30.
We will indeed. Coverage will continue on Sky Sport Next, but we will take a short break. Please join us again. The afternoon session is going to be an absolute belter here at the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2021.
Jennian Homes have been proudly building the homes New Zealanders love for over 35 years and encouraging youth to achieve their hopes and dreams. Jennian Homes is proud to partner with the New Zealand Olympic Games team.
Aon has been helping Kiwis strive for sporting success for over 20 years. As New Zealand's leading insurance broker, we can also support you when it comes to your insurance. Expert advice and local service. Talk to your local Aon insurance broker today.
We know a country where the skies are big because the horizons are wide, so the warm, gentle landscape stretches out forever. This country is food and wine country, but you probably know it as Hawke's Bay.